my fault
Sure.
for not looking it up, but I wasn't as familiar with that to see, wait a minute, there is kind of precedent set for what's going on with Rashee Rice. They admit Rashee Rice is worse,
Yes.
but not 10 times worse.
And so that's what I think is, I don't know if interesting is the correct word, but what I find what the NFL's probably trying to do, in my words, Rashee Rice is a star player for the brand name franchise. It is recognizable, and I think
Yes.
even if you're a player, you see Rashee Rice, you know him. I don't even know if all the players know who Brandon Echols is, right? And so they see that and they go, "Well, that's not me. That's who cares? It's fine. He is a fringe guy. It's okay." If they make an example out of Rashee Rice, my thought process, at least from the NFL's perspective, more people will listen.
Yeah.
A star player on the premier franchise that is out there.
He couldn't make an example of Jordan Addison because it's specifically written
Correct.
in the CBA.
Correct.
Nothing he could do there. They believe that Roger Goodell is willing to take this to the hearing to show that he's not being soft on this. Even if, in the time being, the NFL is taking a hit, what he does not want to show is like, okay, there's 4 games for Rashee Rice. He wants to make it known that when this hearing takes place, he's looking for double-digit games. He's trying to give Rashee Rice double-digit games. He was trying to give Deshaun Watson a full season. That is part of my annoyance in this whole argument is when it's like, well, Roger Goodell gave Deshaun Watson 11 games and he's trying to give Rashee Rice 10. No, he didn't give Deshaun Watson 11 games. He agreed to it after finding out that Sue Robinson was saying he does not have a case to stand on to give a full season to Deshaun Watson. That's how they came to 11. What I was told is even if Roger Goodell loses, he's then going to appeal and double down to try to set the precedent here that he feels like the number of games that they are looking for, they as in the Rice camp, is not an actual deterrent for this. That, okay, that happened that badly and he got 3 games, 4 games. Yeah, I don't want that to happen, but it ain't exactly like, oh, I gambled and I got kicked out of the NFL. You know, I committed domestic violence and I've got 10 games, a year-long suspension. Maybe I'm out of the NFL as well because nobody wants to hire me.
So,
and by the way, he's going to appeal if it is ruled in Rice's favor, and he is willing, what I was told is the feeling is he is willing to take it all the way through the appeals process to not then negotiate, even if it's more on the side of Rashee Rice.
yeah.
That he's willing to take it all the way because the view that the NFL was soft on Deshaun Watson by agreeing to 11 games.
And that was my concern.
So even if he loses, even if he loses the appeal, at least they know he was trying to set the precedent. He was trying to be harder on Rashee Rice, that this was not the NFL saying, oh, we just gave him 3 games. Oh, we gave him 4 games. No, he's going to, and we don't know how long the appeals process is going to take because the appeal with Deshaun Watson was August 3rd. He was given 11 games on August 18th. It's 15 days later, that's what they negotiated. The end of the appeals process, don't know how long that would have taken because the appeals process was not over when they came to the agreement of 11 games. It was 15 days after filing the appeal, and it still was in the process of going on in the appeals process when they agreed to the 11 games. So this thing could play out much deeper into the season.
Yeah.
The further it goes into the season, I would guess the better it is for Rashee Rice. Because that is the NFL saying, we're not going to stop. We're going to appeal. And we're going to... Now, it could be bad for Rashee Rice if whoever Roger Goodell designates as head of the appeal says, yeah, Roger's right, we're going to give you 12 games because then it's binding.
Yeah.
The appeal is whatever happens with the appeal, the ruling, that is what it is. Now, the NFLPA's part in this. This is where the Justin Tucker case comes in very loosely to what we're talking about with Rashee Rice. They do not want to let Rashee Rice take a suspension right now that's more than 4 games. 4 games would be like, oof, kind of pushing it, because that would be 4 times worse than Brandon Echols from what they're saying Rashee Rice did. They're willing to take their chances with Sue Robinson. They don't want precedent to move from 1 game to 10 games for this. Roger Goodell is caring more about the image and the view of the league, using Rice as a deterrent. You do this, and you're looking at over half your salary gone. He's only making $1.3 million this year, and he owes $1 million in retribution.
Yeah.
Every single game is $70,000. If he misses 4 games, it's $280,000 that he's going to be out of his $1.3 million base salary. No lawyer, whether you argue that Rashee Rice, should be suspended that many games or not, no lawyer would allow their client to settle for something that is so out of line than what has previously been handed out as a precedent. There's no lawyer that's going to, even a lawyer that might have a guy that's a repeat offender and a repeat offender and a repeat offender, they're still going to fight for what the best possible outcome could be for their client. They're not going to go, well, you committed it for the 3rd time. Sorry, they're going to throw the book at you. Too bad. You deserve it. No, they're going to fight to see what they can get, okay? This is where the Justin Tucker case comes in. Deshaun Watson's precedent was set at 11 games. What the NFLPA is saying, Justin Tucker agreed to 10 because the precedent was at 11 for Deshaun Watson. If they let Rashee Rice agree to a suspension that's longer than 4 games, they are now setting the precedent for anybody else that's like a Brandon Echols. Yeah. The next Brandon Echols will be, let's say they agree to 7 games. The next Brandon Echols, you're getting 6. Not 1, not 2, you're getting 6. So Justin Tucker getting 10 games compared to Deshaun Watson's 11 is proof that through the hearing with Sue Robinson and the appeals process set precedent for something that was unprecedented that we eventually find out pretty quickly somebody else did. So we're going through this with Rashee Rice, and in a month, some other player in the NFL might make a very bad decision and be here and then go, well, Rashee Rice got 8 games, you're getting 7. Instead of Rashee Rice fighting for 2, maybe 4, settling on 3, and then that guy gets 2 or 1. That's the point the NFLPA is trying to make right now as to why this thing is going to be fought for anything more than 4 games, at least the way that I was told. One other quick point. The commissioner's exempt list has been brought up as to why not that. One, that's typically saved for domestic violence, the performance-enhancing drugs, things like that. The big difference between suspension and commissioner's exempt list. Commissioner's exempt list gets paid while you're suspended. You can work out at the team facility. You can get treatment. You're just like you're on the team. You're getting paid, but you can't play. If this thing takes place September 30th and Roger Goodell puts him on the commissioner's exempt list, he would miss the first 4 weeks, but he would be paid for those 4 weeks. What Rice's camp is going to argue is obviously 1, time served, if that's the case, and 2, you're not making him pay back his salary. You chose to put him on the commissioner's exempt list instead of waiting for this thing to play out and suspend him, so Rice is going to keep his money and will take you to court.
Yeah.
He's not going to pay you back, and you are not going to keep salary from a game that he played in. If he's suspended 4 games and starts in game 5, and you've already paid him for weeks 1 through 4, and he plays in week 5, you cannot keep that salary from him when he plays because you are saying he's been suspended, but he is playing that game, so that is not a suspended game. So we will fight this and take it to court, as far as it goes. He's going to get his money. So you can put him on the commissioner's exempt list, but a big part of suspensions is the money, the fine that the player loses. Yes, there's a part of it that goes that the team loses the player for that amount of games too. But the player loses the money. He loses $280,000 if he's suspended 4 games. Commissioner's exempt list for 4 games, and if Sue Robinson comes back and says 4 games, time served, Rashee Rice doesn't miss a paycheck if he does that. So there is a thought that it's not even being discussed at the commissioner's exempt list, that's not going to be something that takes place because you get paid while you're on it. And Raj, the suspension, the fine, the money is part of it. There's also an argument to be made. I don't think this will hold up, but there's an argument to be made that whether they bring it up or not, it is certainly something that's being talked about, is in an odd way, it is best for the victims. This is what they can argue. It's best for the victims that Rashee Rice play as many games as possible because he can be quicker to paying back the full restitution of $1 million.
Yeah.
The longer he's out, the longer the victims go without getting their money. I don't think that's going to hold up. Highly doubt that. But it is at least another point that they will offer to Sue Robinson, as in, take the victim's thoughts in this, and is the victim more willing to go, yeah, Rashee Rice isn't playing, that's what he gets, or Rashee Rice is playing, but I get the $1 million that I'm owed that I was given in the civil lawsuit that we agreed to.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. That's where we're at now. My understanding is they aren't close. They're not going to be close. And there's a chance, there's at least a feeling that this thing could drag in well into the season with the full appeals process taking place after the September 30th hearing, after the number of games has been given for the suspension, and then through the appeals process. So buckle up is what I would say. Unless something drastically changes over the time, then we'll see. And by the way, the part of it where, well, Rashee Rice might miss the first game and then go, okay, great, I agree to the suspension, the NFLPA is not going to be okay with that. This is part of Justin Tucker got 10 games because Deshaun Watson got 11. If Deshaun Watson would have gotten 6, Justin Tucker would have gotten 5. That's what they are going to avoid with Rashee Rice until they are told by Sue Robinson or the appeals process that you are given this extreme amount of games. We'll see. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. What did we learn from game number 2 in the preseason? We'll talk about that next. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, the Drake, Jack Johnson hanging out with us. If you missed any part of that, you can go and check it out on the podcast. So there you go. 913-912-4810 is the text line. 913-912-4810, the text line to be a part of the show. All right, let's get into the game on Friday night. It was Friday night, right? Friday night? I believe it was Friday night they played. Did they play Friday night? We're going to go with Friday night on this one. They played on Friday night against Seattle. It is the preseason. I don't care about the wins and losses. I don't care about the score. I know that the Chiefs do. I know that the coaches do. I do not. But this was not a good showing by the overall team. Let's start with some of the concerns.
All of them.
Yes. Let's start with Kingsley. All right, we'll start with the left side of the line. It's been the most focused thing that we have talked about for 2 years now. He played 10 snaps in the game. I was pretty disappointed in that. I would have liked to see Kingsley and Simmons play more. They are getting, certainly Josh Simmons is understandable, but Kingsley is getting, he's the starter reps so far in the first 2 preseason games and through training camp too. Jalen Moore is mixed in a little bit at left guard. Caliendo came in a little bit at left guard during training camp, but it's been Kingsley. 10 snaps. He played 11 versus Arizona. What's really interesting to me about Kingsley is the guy seems to be a dog in the run game.
Yeah.
Like he is pushing dudes back. He's getting to the second level. He's walling off defenders. It's like, oh my God. The Chiefs may have the exact opposite of Joe Thuney at left guard. A guy who's going to be a dog in the run game and terrible pass blocking, where Joe Thuney is going to be good enough in the run game because he's technically sound as a guard is out there. But the pass game is, whoo boy, really, really good. One of the best pass protecting guards in the league. Your opinion, Sterling, Jack, should we see Jalen Moore with the starters on Friday night? Are you guys at that level? Because if they're already mixing in Jalen Moore a little at left guard, Jawan Taylor's a starter at right tackle. I'm not sure what the Chiefs are seeing in protecting Patrick Mahomes that would say, we're good with Kingsley against the Chargers that don't have that good of a defensive line, mind you. They've got Khalil Mack, so that's where Josh Moore will be pressured.
Josh Simmons.
Josh Simmons, thank you.
Or Jalen Moore.
No, Josh
Simmons.
Moore.
Jalen
Simmons. That's where Josh Simmons will be pressured. Agreed. The defensive line for the Chargers not great, but the Chargers are sitting back and licking their chops at the way they can game plan to get Kingsley on an island and pass pro. Back-to-back weeks, he's been just knocked back off his feet or just beat completely to where he's turning around and running, and the guy, full body, you can see the front of the guy's jersey when the quarterback Gardner Minshew gets to his back step.
Yeah.
That can't happen. Should we see Jalen Moore? Are you that concerned, Sterling, with Kingsley? Are you ready to jump ship? Or does the run game blocking lead you to believe that there has got to be something there that would allow him technique-wise to be strong enough to hold up in the pass game? Why is he so good at pushing defenders around in the run game, but not strong enough to anchor in pass pro?
Yeah,
where you come down on that?
He's great going forward. He just cannot go back or hold his own, really. Yeah. It's intriguing how good he's been in the run game, but I don't think you can allow that to transpire what we've seen so far into the regular season, whether it's Caliendo or Jalen Moore. Again, Jalen Moore is a tackle who was not played a lot of guard either, so that's another situation where I think there's going to be a little more ups and downs, and maybe people are, and I've been a big Jalen Moore guy. I've been I don't want to say Kingsley Suamataia supporter, but I've been, I think, more patient than most because we knew that he was a developmental guy, and we knew that, well, hell, he's a guy going from tackle to guard. This is new for him as well. My frustration lies that we're not seeing him play more guard snaps in the preseason. My frustration lies in I'm cool with him being going out with the ones, but the fact that he's also leaving with the ones. Leave him in there. I don't care that it's going to be Norzad or someone else at center. I don't care if it's someone else at left tackle. Kingsley clearly has to still work on his technique at left guard, especially in pass block. So that's where my frustration lies more than anything else. And again, that's not necessarily his fault. It's not his fault that he's getting pulled out of the game early. It's his fault he's getting beat that bad. But we knew there was going to be growing pains, but we have not seen any sort of floor in pass protection that leads me to believe that he should be the starter week 1. That's what you need to see on a Super Bowl contender when you have a $500 million quarterback. Again, if this were the Jets, if this were a bad team, leave Kingsley out there because I've been so impressed with him in run block. It's nice to see. Let him get some reps. Let him develop. Man, you don't have time to let him develop when you have Patrick back there and you're trying to get back to a Super Bowl. That's where the floor for me makes the most sense.
Jim Harbaugh's like, can we trade for that 76? You guys have that 76 available? We'd like to have that guy because Pipkins is no longer playing guard, and Mekhi Becton has been watching the entire training camp and the first 2 preseason games. We'll take that 76 if you don't like him.
You know, it's one thing if this offensive line last year was so strong and capable on the left side, but the reality was that they were not. And you can say, well, Kingsley's, 23 years old? He needs to develop. He needs time there. It's different when you're a Super Bowl contender year in and year out. I'm not willing to wait around 5-6 games for him to maybe figure it out. He had to have shown in camp and in preseason he was head and shoulders better than not only Jalen Moore, but Mike Caliendo. And I think for most of this preseason, I thought, get Jalen Moore some reps in there, but I also understand the reasoning of keeping him as the swing tackle because you do have that uncertainty with Josh Simmons. You have Juwan Taylor over on the right side, and if you put more at left guard, it's not that you need to go into the season expecting injuries to happen, but God forbid, this hopefully would never happen, but if Jalen Moore got hurt at left guard and then you ran into either lack of ability with Josh Simmons or injury, now what are you doing? Yeah. Who is your swing tackle? Wanya Morris? You have to pick up somebody again, and that's why I believe having Jalen Moore as the break in case of emergency, Juwan Taylor's struggling, Josh Simmons is struggling, or he's hurt, that's the tackle, because he has played that position. I believe the highest floor move for the Chiefs is Caliendo. Caliendo played at that spot in high leverage games where Kingsley, he got benched at left tackle, and now left guard, I want him to win the job, but I'm also not going to keep fooling myself, and I don't want to take too much away from preseason. Unfortunately, that's all we have. We have St. Joe film, and we've got 2 preseason games.
And the Denver Broncos.
And that was...
in which he was good run blocking and bad pass blocking.
And now you've got a little bit more of a book on that. Maybe he's a red zone guy where you got to put in the power eye or something, and you can go in there and just give it to Kareem Hunt at the goal line. But the Chiefs are going to throw the football a lot. We all know that, and you cannot be having, not that PFF's everything, but what was his grade, 15 or something, 15 to 20?
Kingsley was 28.5 against Arizona, 13.8 against
lower
Seattle.
Than 15.
Is it like
pass
golf?
Block.
Is it
pass
golf?
Block,
is it lower the better? Is it like golf?
I wish.
Oh, okay. So it's not like
run block was great.
Right, I know.
He was wasn't he the highest graded run blocker?
One of theirs.
But that's the 3: Denver Broncos, Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks. All 3 games, rough pass blocking grade, really good run blocking grade. I don't think this is just an anomaly now. I think this is who Kingsley Suamataia is. And I would have real questions for this guy was drafted in the 2nd round because he was kind of a project, right? Left tackle. They really felt like this guy, last preseason training camp, was the answer at left tackle for the question. He was the answer of available answers at training camp last year at left tackle, to where he didn't finish game number 2, gets moved to guard, and yet it's a year later, and he is still having the same issues that he had last year at tackle, only now it's at guard. Where's the development? Where's Kingsley Suamataia technique-wise? Why is he able to go forward and show his strength and athleticism, because it's not like he lacks strength. Like Joe Thuney could not put more sand in the tank to anchor at left tackle. He had to be a technique guy, but his body was his body. Kingsley has shown that he's got the power to be able to move guys around. So why is it that he is still at this level a year later, that as soon as he makes contact, his feet stop moving? They just stop moving immediately. Is it mental? Is it that he's refusing to learn?
I doubt
he's
that.
refusing to take the coaching? Or is it the development just isn't there for Wanya at tackle and Kingsley at tackle and Caliendo at guard?
Jawan Taylor.
And Jawan Taylor regressing it on the right side, like from what he was in Jacksonville.
Yep.
This is year number 2 where Kingsley is doing the exact same thing that he was doing last year. He hasn't improved on that. And if he hasn't improved on that, then why has he continued to be the starter?
Well, just the overarching point is it's either identifying talent or it's developing talent on the offensive line. It has to be, because what's been the common denominator? Yeah, Creed's been great, Trey's been great, but they came in great.
Yeah.
Right? What about Kingsley? What about Wanye? What about Jawan Taylor regressing? What about Caliendo? I mean, you have to go back to guys.
Allegretti was a win.
Allegretti.
Yep.
Potentially Andrew Wiley. But my point is, this was my concern all along with Josh Simmons. I go, if Josh Simmons does not come in great, you're not developing him. He's got to be great, because where have they developed any one of the offensive line? They've struggled. So it's either identifying talent or it's developing.
Yeah, and the question is going to be, and I think, Jack, to your point about the floor, I think they're going to start off by ceiling and then end up at floor, which is what they did last year.
And also, too, I believe we're all in that spot where you want him to win the job. He's 23 years old. You used a second-round draft pick on him. Where Caliendo,
22.
22. Gosh, he's even younger than that.
Mondesi's still only like 29 or 30, so, I mean, just give him some time.
But I just want to know how he got to that point where going into camp, there was a lot of people that are going, well, he's the starter.
He's the guard.
Well, why? Well, we cannot use Week 17 with Carson Wentz taking snaps as the game to go to. It's a great Broncos defense, but I wanted to see more of the high-leverage spots, which is why I would say Caliendo might be a safer pick if you're still uncertain after this preseason game.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. We'll talk about a couple of other things, maybe some positives there. We'll get into some Royals conversation today. Burgert looks like a really good acquisition. Freddie Fermin is killing it for the Padres, so both sides seem like they may have won in that particular trade. Royals get ready for a huge 4-game set against the Rangers. Big weekend for the Royals with the Guardians getting swept and them sweeping the White Sox. More Zone next. All right, men, if you're out there and you happen to be suffering from erectile dysfunction, there is no reason to wait around and see if this thing will cure itself, because more than likely it will not do that. Heartland Men's Health is here to help. And, they let men know maybe the most difficult thing is just simply setting up the consultation, just simply walking through the door and trying to figure out what's going on. Maybe on your own, you've tried the pills or the herbals. If they are failing, well, Heartland Men's Health treatments work when that happens. In fact, they have treatments with success rates well over 90%. They have been successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. It's what they do. It's their passion. It's their life. It's their job, their career. What they do is treating men's health. Schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit is only $99. That includes a medical consult with a licensed medical provider, a T, and that PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if the test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. If it does, there you go. They've got an expert staff with 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence, between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. All right, we're getting to the Royals weekend here in the next segment at 11 o'clock and what took place with the Royals getting ready for the Rangers. It's a huge series, this 4-game set with the Texas Rangers. The Royals gained 2 games on Texas and 3 games on the Guardians. No games on the Yankees, but part of catching the team that's in the playoff spot is passing the teams that are ahead of you. So they have been making up ground there. So we'll talk about that. I had a couple of other, concerns that we'll get into as we wrap up this first hour. Obviously, not many teams are like, man, if you take away 4 or 5 starters from that defense, they're going to be really good. They're still going to be fine. So, no Chris Jones, no Nick Bolton, no Drew Tranquil, no Trent McDuffie. Those things matter. But I was already worried about the interior defensive line against the run, and there wasn't anything that really happened to ease my concerns about that. I think what we learned too is, boy, no wonder why they paid Nick Bolton, because the other guys available. There's an issue at linebacker after Bolton and Tranquil. Chanel more of the strong side guy, but Bolton, Tranquil being those 2 guys that are going to be your main linebackers. After them, there's some issues with who is out there if those guys were to go down, and the interior defensive line, it could be rough in terms of trying to stop the run. It's still something that worries the heck out of me for week 1 against the Chargers that want to just pound it down your throat with a Marion Hampton and maybe Najee Harris. I don't know. We still don't know what's going on with his eye, so not sure about that. But that was one of my takeaways was that's a spot that come cut down they may be looking at to add a player or 2 that might be a veteran release.
Drew Lock should be the starter in Seattle.
Duh.
That's what we came away with.
Obvious.
Yeah. No, it's tough to, because you're going to be frustrated when you see that game. When you watch that game, It was just, and you're trying to say, okay, all these guys not out there. It just is frustrating. It's tough. We always think of the Chiefs as having an immense amount of depth, and they've shown to have a lot of depth during their Super Bowl runs.
Yeah.
I think that's what separates the Chiefs more than other teams is their depth.
Yeah.
But again, it's almost like the offensive line against Tampa Bay, or it's where eventually becomes too much. Like if Chris Jones and McDuffie were out there, but you had the backup linebackers, could they still find a way to get it done?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to find. You watch the game, and it was just, it was bad, man.
Run defense was terrible, and I still love watching Robert Tonyan play football.
Yes.
That's what I took away.
Big Bob.
How he was not available for anybody last year, I don't know. It's also preseason football, so I get it.
Right. He's on a practice squad all year last year. I don't know. Maybe
they look for him.
Maybe he'll get into the regular season and it'll be like, man, he can't gain separation against starters at all. He's not open. He's not but he's catching everything that's out there.
Sky Moore had a great punt return, and that's all. And that's
all that happened.
All that happened, right? He didn't have any other issues.
Don't recall anything.
Don't recall anything.
I feel like, I know cut down isn't until next Tuesday at 3:00. I feel like at this point you just simply cut the cord for his own good and just say, change it. Sky, we're going to move on, man. Change the scenery. Best of luck to you, dude, because we can't keep doing this. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, the Drake. Jack Johnson hanging out with us later on this hour. We'll hear from the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid, and players. Let's talk about the Royals. It was a big weekend. They go 6-3 overall in this 9-game stretch, and they've gained games on the Guardians. They gained games on the Rangers. Huge 4-game set starting tonight. Jack Leiter on the mound for the Texas Rangers, and Michael Wacha heading to the mound for the Royals. They are now 2 games over 500. Boy, it really felt like this team could not get over 500. It was like you'd get close to 500 and then lose a game. Get back to 500 and then lose a couple of games. Get close and then lose a game. Back to 500, lose a game.
They'll go over 500. Fact.
That is a fact.
Remember? They'll get back.
Yeah, they are
fact.
2 games under 500. Still 4 games out, though, because the Yankees have decided to start winning more games.
But Boston has started to slide a little bit.
That's true.
Wild card standings out. Seattle and Boston are both like a half game over New York, but then the Astros are just barely ahead of Seattle. It's a log jam.
So it's like 5.5 games the Royals are out of the second wild card, 4 games out of the last wild card, and they're a half game behind the Guardians right now. And they had a really good weekend. Guardians getting swept by the Braves. It's not like the Guardians were playing, the Dodgers or the Padres. They were playing the Braves. Braves are well out of it as well, and they got swept. And the Royals took care of the White Sox, sweeping them.
I have the Royals actually at 4 games back of the final spot.
Yeah.
But 4.5 back of the second and first wild card spot.
But tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker, yeah. Sorry, my fault. I didn't think about the tiebreaker. I was just thinking of strictly the
because they went 0-6 against the Yankees, 2-4 against Boston, but
they've got to finish a game ahead
Seattle.
of those. They've got to finish a game ahead of those teams, which is why it's technically like a game and a half at this point.
Sorry for being a dumbass. I just saw it and was like, oh, I got optimism, Sterling. And then you guys were like, hey, you know that optimism you have, pal? Let's stop that. Let's stop the optimism.
Yeah, cool it. Cool your jets a little bit on being optimistic.
You need to be way more pessimistic. We need way more negativity from you, Sterling. So.
Optimist Prime, okay? Chill over there, all right? Is this a team that we feel like, Jack, is starting to play the way that we saw them play last year? Like, I don't want to dismiss the White Sox sweep because we didn't, and we focused on losing to the series to the White Sox earlier, getting swept by the A's, right? Yeah. We talked about that, like, why can't you take care of the bad teams? They take care of the bad teams. I don't think then you go, okay, well, who cares? They only took care of the bad teams. Well, yeah, but we were arguing and saying that was a problem with this team is that they weren't doing that. I would have liked to see 7-2. 6-3 is still a good stretch over 9 games for this team against non-playoff teams. But are we seeing this team maybe riding the ship, settling the waters a little bit from a rough patch of getting back close and falling back and getting back close and falling back, putting a number of games together with, by the way, Sunday they were up 3-2 against the Twins. Last Sunday, up 3-2 against the Twins in the 8th inning, and they lost. 7-7 against the Nationals in the 9th, and they lost. Down 2-0 yesterday, getting no hit. And Jonathan India with a massive swing of the bat in that game. They found a way to get it done yesterday and not, well, you took 2 of 3 from the White Sox and you're 5-4. So is this now a team that's maybe putting it together with Yaz and Frazier, Bergert being a guy that can settle a little bit? Where's your confidence on this team heading into this Ranger series now?
I'm confident with where the offense is at because it just feels that they have far more league average bats out there, where for so much of the season it was you better get somebody on base in the first 3, otherwise nobody else is going to get on base or drive in any runs for that matter. Now you can count on Jonathan India maybe running into one every once in a while. Adam Frazier's hitting .330 with the Royals.
Including the tank?
Yeah, exactly.
Yesterday.
I mean, he's a totally different guy than he was last year. And Randall Grichuk, has good numbers now. Mike Yastrzemski is only hitting 190. He's also slugging .500. So, and that's at the top of the order for the Royals.
He's OPS in 808.
It's, and these were the type of moves you wanted to make to improve this lineup, and it takes less pressure, or I should say, takes a certain amount of pressure off of the starting rotation. which has dealt with injuries, which is trying to get through Seth Lugo's struggles. And, going into this series against Chicago, I thought to myself, man, if they can just get the pitching back to where it was, it doesn't need to be perfect and throw 7 shutout innings, but if they just hold Chicago to 1 or 2 runs in the first 5-6 innings, they're going to win all 3 of these games. Because the way the offense has been playing, you've got that added confidence, and they're playing a Rangers team for the next 4 days that has really been struggling.
Yes.
At one point, they were red hot. Now they can't keep anybody in the yard. Their offense has been a little bit hit and miss, which is the way it was at the beginning of the year. What does need to happen moving forward is really focus on yourself. If you keep winning, stuff is going to take care of itself because you're not going to have 5 teams all win 8, 9, 10 in a row. The Royals still absolutely need that ridiculous run where they're going to win 15 of 20 games or 17 of 21 games because somebody, I feel, whether it's Seattle, Boston, or New York, they're bound to have a really bad stretch here soon. I don't see all 3 just taking control of the wild card spot and running away with it. Boston has the toughest schedule. The Yankees have battled injuries, but now they got Judge back. In Seattle, I do wonder if any sort of that shine from the trade deadline. I mean, Eugenio Suarez has been awful for them since being traded for at the deadline. I believe one of those teams is going to have a really rough week or two. What matters, though, is what are the Royals doing? If they're playing their 500 ball, it's not going to matter come September 30th. But if this is their beginning of a ridiculous stretch, yeah, I'd imagine by September 1st, you're talking about this team where Cleveland was last week being a half game out.
Should also point out real quick, in the series against the Rangers, they won't see both DeGrom and Eovaldi. Eovaldi pitched yesterday against the Blue Jays, so they will miss having to face both of those guys in the
well, DeGrom's Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah, DeGrom's Wednesday. Eovaldi pitched yesterday, so he will not pitch in the series.
So only facing one of the 2.
Right. Did I say that?
No, you were correct, I think, but I think I understand where Jack was coming from in regards to.
I meant DeGrom and
they
won't face.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say.
Eovaldi was yesterday.
They won't face DeGrom and Eovaldi. They'll only face one of them, that being DeGrom.
To me, it just feels like, as Jack was pointing out, way more league average bats in this lineup. India feels like since he's been dropped, he's been a little more clutch, maybe, and maybe it's just the moments that stick out.
He's OPSing 953 since moving out of the 1 spot.
But the average and on base has been the exact same. He's just been hitting
on base is 353 since moving out.
Okay,
yeah.
So maybe
the
more
average
walks.
Is close. He's 260.
Yeah,
but he's getting on base at 350 now.
It just feels like India's found a spot down there. And by the way, what a turn from Yaz to India. That throw, and by the way, the tag by Luke Maley at home was perfect. I mean, I feel like we gloss over the tag sometimes. I think it's so difficult for a catcher. I mean, that was a Yaz tried to dive where he almost had a John Rave situation, but he got it back in quick, and India's throw was
beautiful.
Perfection.
That was the best. I think that was the best game Jonathan India's played as a Royal.
He had good defense.
That was nice.
Tweeted that after the game. I think that was the best all-around game from Jonathan India. He went 2 for 4 with the strikeout, or 2 for 3 with strikeout and a walk, whatever it was.
One for 3 walk.
So with a home run, the walk. So
2
1 for 3.
RBIs,
He did strike out at the end on a ball, by the way. Yeah. That was strike 3. But he had that awesome relay. Obviously, the huge 2-run shot that may have changed the trajectory of the rest of the season. If they lose that game 2-0, it's like, man, that kind of sucks getting ready for this Rangers game. He had the play in which the ball bounced off Salvi's glove, and he scoops it over to Salvi. He was awesome. It was maybe his best all-around game as a Royal that he played in this one, and they had to have it.
But for me, I think what's even more enthused is we talked about the amount of singles earlier on the year and how they had no slug, but they had 8 hits, 4 extra base hits in this one, but none by Bobby. Vinny went 0 for 4. No extra base hits by Michael or Salvi. It was the other guys. And that's what this team needs. You remember earlier in the year we said, if Bobby, Michael, Vinny, and Salvi aren't going and hitting 7 hits in a game and at least 3 extra base hits, this team isn't winning. They won't put up enough runs. But it was Yaz with a double. It was Frazier with a home run. India with a home run. Frazier also with a Adam Frazier's has been insane. It's been insane. It's the mustache, I'm telling you. Ever since he grew that mustache, Adam Frazier has become one of the best players in baseball.
Well, and the thing about, like, when we talk about the guys at the top versus, at the bottom and those guys coming through, I mean, we saw the Salvi, hit, and then Frazier's, 2-run home run and to pour it on. all of that was with 2 outs.
Yeah.
Bobby gets the single, steals second. Unfortunately, Vinny strikes out. And then Garcia comes up with 2 strikes and just puts the barrel on the ball the other way, hits it hard enough into the gap to the right side, gets past the first baseman. Bobby wasn't going to get thrown out at home anyway, but the right fielder misplays the ball on the scoop. He was still going to score. But that made it 3-2 with 2 outs. The Royals get 3 more runs. If Maikel Garcia just has a typical at bat and doesn't, pops up, or a ground ball to the first baseman or something, it's 2-2 going in at that point to the top of the ninth. We saw against the Nationals it was 7-7 going into the top of the ninth, and the Royals ended up losing that game. But it didn't matter. They got it done because Salvi then came through, and then Frazier came through to make it, all right, this game's over at this point. Once that ball left the yard, it's like, all right, they're 6-2. Estevez might give up a base runner or two, but this thing's toast. And what a great win for them, going from down 2-0 to up 6-2 in a matter of 2 innings.
Yeah.
And India with the 2-run home run, 2 outs, 2-run home run, and then the other. So all 6 runs were scored with 2 outs.
Yes.
Clutch.
So all 6 runs were scored with 2 outs, and they had to come through with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
I believe, too, for India's 2-run home run in the 7th, Frazier was down 0-2 in the count, worked it back to 2-2, and then just poked it over to the left side down the line against the shift, and then India homered, right after that. So 2 unlikely guys that you would have said a couple months ago driving the bus in that
Adam
spot.
Frazier, we've only said glowing things about that trade. We never
trade was
once
amazing.
said anything negative.
I've tried to tell everybody this Adam Frazier thing.
Gosh, how dumb were we? I mean, seriously, how dumb was I?
Well, I mean, the Royals were trading for a guy that they paid $2 million to not bring back last year. I mean, they bought out the option. It's like, we're going to pay you $2 million just so you aren't here.
And
then
then
we're
brought
gonna
him
trade
back
for you and pay you more this year.
Dude, I am
rest of the year.
just,
So
I am
even-
perplexed. It's the mustache. What? Name another reason why Adam Frazier is doing this.
I can't think of one. It's the only reason.
Healthy thumb.
No, mustache.
Yeah, mustache. Mustache in the flow.
He said name another reason that would make sense.
That's true.
The thumb has nothing.
Injury wouldn't
Thumb
he?
has nothing. to
It
do with
never
baseball.
affected anyone in baseball. Alex Rios,
You can play
no.
through it.
You don't need opposable thumbs in baseball. That's been proven time and time again. Jim Abbott didn't even need a hand. Okay,
Fair fact.
So you don't need thumbs in baseball.
Wait,
so
question.
The Frazier thumb
I
thing,
actually don't know this.
it's kind of dumb, Jack, to be honest with you. So.
Okay, hear me out. I actually don't know this for sure because I never thought of this until just now.
Okay.
When he played against National League teams and had a hit, what did he do?
Adam Frazier?
No, Jim Abbott.
Oh.
Drake, I feel like you would know this answer.
Well,
Well,
there wasn't nearly as much interleague.
probably
play.
wasn't
No, I know there
was.
was, but did he?
He swung that one. Had the St. Louis Browns had a player named Pete Gray, an outfielder, in around World War II, who was a pretty decent hitter, and he only had one arm, and he would hit.
Wow.
How many times, though, would they send pitchers, even, as early
I
as
know,
10, 15 years ago, to say, don't swing the bat,
Yeah.
just stand there.
Jim Abbott
We
batting.
can't have you getting an oblique injury
Well,
from swinging.
there was a dude in the minor leagues that was at the plate.
Oh, I saw
the
this.
left-handed hitter, and he called for time, and the
That's
umpire didn't give him
ridiculous.
time, and they pitched, so he just swung with his left hand. And
He hit it
hits
hard,
through,
too.
Hit it hard through the right side for a single and an RBI, one-handed.
That's
He
forearm strength.
Apparently, okay.
Yeah. What was his batting average?
He apparently only hit 1 year.
Okay, so what was batting average? Did he get a hit?
95. He had 2 hits.
Look at that, MJ Melendez.
He was better than MJ.
He can do with one arm what MJ Melendez
Fewer
can do with
strikeouts,
two.
probably 2, 10 and 24 at bats. He hit 3 RBIs.
Good for you, James.
2 hits, 3 RBIs.
I mean, look at that.
It was only in 1999. Apparently, the only time he ever hit was when he was with Milwaukee.
Interesting.
His final year in Major League Baseball was when he must have just been like, "I'm hitting guys."
Sorry, this is happening. Whether you guys like it or not, this is I'm gonna swing the bat. Ryan Bergert, we've seen him for 3 starts now. He has tied or exceeded in all 3 starts what his career high was in innings pitched. He has 90 and 86. He has his 3 of his top 5 pitch counts in his major league career. So he's got all of that in these 3 starts for the Royals, and he's gone into the 6th inning every time, and the most he's given up is 2 runs, including 15 strikeouts the last 2 games. 15 strikeouts and 3 walks the last 2 games for Ryan Bergert. Can we hear from Ryan Bergert a little post game yesterday as another good outing? 2 runs, 1 of them earned. So he's given up 2 in every single game. He's gone into the so close to quality starts. So close to quality starts. He's 4 outs total away from 3 quality starts in his time. That wasn't the case. Here's Ryan Bergert post game yesterday.
Ryan, how would you just evaluate your start tonight?
Yeah, I think it was good. Gave the team a chance to win. Those first few innings. It's a little brutal, hot. But I think overall, went to the 6th, only those 2 runs. So I think it was solid, but definitely could have been better. Command was okay, but stuff wasn't the best. But I think it could have been better for sure.
You mentioned the heat. What were some things you did to kind of combat that as you were out there?
Yeah, just in between innings, try to get some cool air in me. Come inside, get a little AC, drink a bunch of water. So.
A little different than San Diego?
Yeah, a little bit for sure.
Had the slider working for you in this one. Was that something that was kind of game plan specific, or was to throw that a little heavier early on, or something you felt in the bullpen?
I won't say game plan specific. I just felt good today. I think I could rely on it a little bit. It was probably my best pitch today for sure.
Is that when you say you feel good? Is that something that you feel in the bullpen with that pitch, or is this that getting into the game?
It's a little bit of both. In the bullpen, it felt good, but definitely first few innings, that was probably the pitch that felt the best for sure.
As you work through that start, you have some traffic, pretty much in a pitcher's soul too. I mean, how do you make sure that you stay composed enough to keep the team in it and allow them to do what they did late?
Yeah, my kind of thought process is just one pitch at a time. I'm not trying to think ahead too much and just make quality pitches over and over again and then let the results be what they may. So.
When you see the offense fight back like they did, what does that do for you as a pitcher, just knowing that they are picking you up out there?
Oh, it was great. When I got taken out of the game today, Salvi was like, don't worry about it, we'll get some runs for you. Don't sweat it. So, then they did. So.
Do you tend to believe Salvador Perez when he tells you something like that?
100%.
You've learned that quickly?
Yeah, very quickly.
First start at Kauffman Stadium as well with this team, obviously, weather aside, how did you like pitching at Kauffman Stadium? How do you feel like your game looks in?
Yeah, no, it was great. Can't complain. Good start. Fans were great. Got to win, so can't really complain about that. So.
I think in the 5th, got Montgomery to strike out on the slider too. Can you just describe that sequence to him and being able to get out of that jam?
I mean, yeah, prior few ABs, I beat him on the slider, and then that AB was really fastball heavy, but that was the pitch that was working best for me, and it was 3-2 count. Showed him a few fastballs earlier, and went to my best pitch at the time. So.
What's it like working with Luke Maley behind the dish?
Yeah, Maley's been great. Salvi's been joking that he hasn't caught me yet, so I've been throwing to Maley ever since I came over here. But, we've been on the same page every start and, have a good game plan and went out and attacked it. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
The personal catcher, Luke Maley, for Ryan Bergert. That was a big moment with Montgomery up there, 1st and 3rd. You're down 1-0 already. You're getting no hit in the game, and a double makes it 3-0. And in that heat, you're like, man, I don't know, may not be your day. That's unfortunate. You can't. It's tough to sweep a team, in 3-game series, but it was a big moment, and he got the strikeout and reached back and got him. And Montgomery's been a pretty darn good hitter as of late since the All-Star break. He's in July he's got like 10 home runs in a stretch to where it's like, oh, this guy's been one of the better players. He got out of that one, but I was excited about Bergert for this trade, and man, awesome to Freddie Fermin doing what he's doing with the Padres right now in getting on base at 380 and OPSing at almost 900 so far in the 12 games that he's played and playing the defensive catcher that Freddie Fermin plays. So I'm glad that Padres fans are not mad at Freddie that he's sucked since he came over and this is the guy we got for Gabe Berry. This is the guy that's supposed to be better. Like, he's clearly been better with a few extra base hits as well. But Bergert was the guy I liked in the trade deadline deals, and this was a big reason why. There's a Noah Cameron feel here that he does not look like a rookie on the mound. He doesn't look overmatched or overwhelmed even in bigger situations. In Boston, he didn't look overmatched or overwhelmed. And yesterday in the heat, he didn't look overmatched or overwhelmed even in a spot where your team's getting no hit. You're down 1-0, but they've got first and third, and their number 3 hitter up in that spot.
Yeah, he's been incredibly impressive in these first 3 starts, and this was the worst opponent he had faced to date because he had to go up against Boston, and then he'd have to go up against Minnesota, but it was on the road. I know the Twins lineup isn't that great, but you were back at home against Chicago. It was 150,000 degrees outside, which
seems low.
Pitching outside in that temperature. I mean, Davis Martin did make it look easy, but that's not easy whatsoever. How much sweat you have coming off your hand. And he was, once again, just a guy that took the ball, went out every single inning, and made competitive pitches for the most part. And even when he was struggling a little bit, struggling with the command, he was always able to get back on track and make the big pitch when it counted.
Yeah.
And you've already seen Brian Sweeney sink his hooks into him a little bit because he came over as a fastball pitcher, just 45, 48% of the time. That's now down, and he's throwing more sliders, which has led to better command, which you wouldn't really think because those are pitches that you're trying to put away hitters with. But it's clearly worked out better for him, not only with better command, more strikeouts, which that takes a guy from a number 4, number 5 starter to a legitimate number 2, number 3 for the rotation, which they're probably hoping he can be at some point next year.
That was a great call. I'm glad you brought that up because to me, I think that slider sweeper kind of combo is both those have been the thing that has enamored me, and I'm almost surprised that San Diego was never like, hey, let's make those especially the slider, your primary, and the fastball, let's cut back a little bit on that because you're right. Ever since you get to KC, that's what they've done, and it's been extremely impressive. The strikeout numbers, as you mentioned, has gone up. Hell, I even streamed them in an 8-man fantasy baseball league last night.
Yeah, good for you.
I had to make it about me somehow. But no, Ryan Bergert's been I've been enamored. For as poor as Bailey Falter has been, Ryan Bergert's been the opposite of that good. Yeah, I'm happy about Freddie Fermini's batting .350 out there in San Diego, which is nice to see him perform. But damn, now every 5 days I want Bergert out there, and I'm excited to see what that sweeper and that slider, what it's going to look like.
For as bad as Bailey has been in his starts, that's how as good as Bergert has been now. I agree. Totally agree with that. By the way, shout out Lucas Erceg in a 2-2 game coming through when he had zero control for a slider. And by the way, the White Sox knew that. He's take any slider, take it. He can't control it. He has zero feel for this pitch right now. He's going to be a sinker changeup. That's what you're looking for from him right now, sinker changeup, because he cannot place that slider at all. Found a way to get through it. A little touch and go there with the single and the double, but got through it, so good for him. 99 on the final pitch to get out of that one. We'll take a timeout, come back. More Zone next. About an hour from now, we'll talk with Joel Penfield, One Royal Way podcast. Talk some Royals baseball with him. Coming up next segment, we'll hear from Andy Reid, Josh Simmons, Jalen Watson, and Matt Ariza. Jalen Watson, one of the few secondary players that did not leave the game early. So that was nice to see. Nazi Johnson left the game early. Noel Williams left the game early. And Mike Edwards left the game early on Friday night. But we'll hear from Josh Simmons, who has held his own so far. You know, we've talked about some of the concerns that we had in the game on Friday. If you missed any part of the first hour, the first segment talked about the update on Rashee Rice and conversation that I had and where it stands, why it's at the position that it's in right now, what both sides are arguing over, and why the feeling is that this thing may linger deep into the season. So if you missed any part of that, newer details on the Rashee Rice and NFLPA issue.
And it's been officially podcasted, so you can check it out on The Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Officially podcasted. So we talked about that. Then we got into observations from Friday night. Chiefs, positives, some negatives, some concerns there. Got into Royals in the previous segment, and we'll hear from Andy Reid, Josh Simmons, Jalen Watson, and Matt Ariza. Josh Simmons looks like at the minimum he's going to be a serviceable left tackle his rookie year at minimum.
Donovan Smith era Chiefs?
I mean, I would take it right now if you said that's what he gives you this year.
The floor? Is that what I mean,
I'm hoping that's the floor.
I don't want to say Orlando Brown Jr. because I think that he was somewhat undervalued here in Kansas City, quite frankly, by some people.
But for a rookie year for Josh Simmons, if that's what you get, like, yeah, there might be some times where you're like, all right, you got to coach around this, or has a rough game, has a couple rough reps, but over the course of the season, if he's somebody that you're like, you feel good about left tackle, you're not Patrick Mahomes constantly feeling like that guy's going to beat your left tackle, or as we saw in The Kingdom on ESPN.
Don't ruin it for me. I'm only 2 episodes in, so don't spoil it yet.
Not going to spoil it. It's really awesome until the final game. I'll just tell you that.
I don't know what's going to happen.
I know
they might win. They might lose.
Who knows? I'm so excited. But in that Raiders game, when Mahomes got sacked yet again, when he's mad and tosses the football aside and screaming at the sideline, he comes over and you hear him say, "Same bleeping move, same guy, same move, twice." Wanya didn't play again. I mean, like, with Josh Simmons, I don't think you're going to have to deal with that this year, which is an upgrade. I don't think you're going to get Orlando Pace, for his rookie year, but I do think it's going to be an upgrade on what you had last year. Certainly there are some areas he can improve upon. I'm still not a fan of him leaning as much on the defender, and I'm not a fan of how wide his arms get. Like, it looked like there could have been a couple of holds that were called.
Kind of tango.
That's fine.
He's a dancer.
That's all good. He was sashaying with the guy, but he kept him off guard. Even the one that he lost when he ended up falling, Josh Simmons, like, Gardner Minshew had all day to throw because of the scrum and the muck that everything was in.
I've wondered in that moment with Wanya, and then you go back to last year, Kingsley getting benched, and then also Jawan Taylor in Jacksonville. That was his second game with the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. I wonder how much of that comes from Patrick, of saying we just can't run the offense with this going on right now, or if it was like Patrick's mad about that move, and then somebody on the sideline goes, "No, we can't have him out there." I wonder how much influence he truly has, because he's the one out there running the plays, having the snap count. And if you have somebody who's an absolute liability for that game, I wonder if there's any conversation about you need to get somebody else in there, or if it's a coach saying, "Hey, we're making the switch for you now."
Well, yeah, and I wonder if maybe that's just he and Andy Reid are sort of on the same level of seeing some of the same things, that Andy Reid's also seeing it and going, "Yeah, we got to make a move." Because, there have been, Matt Derrick has talked about this a couple of times on the air and then, with other shows that, it's certainly the feel is that Andy Heck did not want to move Kingsley Suamataia off of left guard, and Andy Heck did not want to move Joe Thuney off of left guard to move him out to left tackle. That Andy Reid was like, "No, this is the move that we're going to make. Joe Thuney is moving out to left tackle, and Caliendo is going to play left guard." So he had the final say. And some of that might have been, I know you're dealing with the offensive line, Andy. I'm dealing with the offense overall. I'm the one calling plays, and the game plan is affected because of this. And number 15 is 1, not happy, 2, not comfortable, and 3, has no trust that things are going to get done. So we are going to make a change here. It's not typically what we do. We typically don't move one person to affect 2 spots. But this ain't typical right now that we're going through. So we're going to make a different move. Sorry, Andy Heck. You may want to keep Tooney at left guard and find something else out at left tackle. We're not doing that. Joe Tooney's moving to left tackle, and coach him up. Figure out the offensive line, because we've got to find a way to run our offense here moving forward, and we got to find a way to make sure 15 feels comfortable back there at some point. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. We'll head out to Chiefs practice here in just a little bit when they get started. It'll be Andy Reid. We will hear from Josh Simmons. We'll hear from Jalen Watson, and we will hear from Matt Araiza, the punter.
That punt battle sure didn't last very long, huh?
Well, I mean, it's one of the things that we were wondering is, would injuries hold up in training camp for Dave Toub to get a longer look to really see what the battle would be? And once, I can't remember who it was early on that got injured, and it was like, all right, well, they're bringing in somebody else, and they're moving on from Chetsinski.
Yeah, was he the Ray Guy Award winner?
Yeah, Chetsinski or whatever. They're going to move on from him, and it's only been a few practices because they've got Araiza under contract. They feel good about him. He's clearly the leader, and the extra punter is the first one to go if an injury happens. So, Dave Toub, if injuries allow, you can have yourself a punting competition. Injuries did not allow, and now Matt Araiza is the punter, and he's got to get better on hang time and putting those down inside the 10-yard line. But certainly he's got the leg to kick it deep and flip the field, but he needs to work on the touch. So we'll hear from Matt Araiza and Andy Reid, an assessment coming out of that now, watching the film from Friday night's game, getting ready for preseason game number 3. We'll find out how many snaps Patrick Mahomes will play, or if he won't play. Hopefully we don't find out today that Mahomes is not going to play on Friday night. I'd really like to see Mahomes in there. And again, I'd like to see as many reps as possible with Josh Simmons and Kingsley Suamataia. I was pretty disappointed when Gardner Minshew left the game, and so did the starting offensive line. So did Simmons, and so did Kingsley, because, I mean, we saw 30 snaps from Kingsley last year at left tackle. He's played 21 so far at left guard. And it just feels like playing with fire.
Yeah.
It feels like going down the same path that you did last year when there weren't nearly enough reps. And I'm ready for them to take a look at Jalen Moore at left guard. And I know, like, Jack's point is a good one, and should, it's acknowledged that, is Jalen Moore better off as being a, as he called it, break in case of emergency, swing tackle, right tackle, left tackle, if somebody goes down or somebody's really struggling, to bring him in? Or are you better off with, hey, your best 5 guys, and if Jalen Moore is one of your best 5, then put him in there at left guard. And if Jalen Moore gets injured because he's playing every play at left guard, okay, now what? Now what happens if you're a tackle down? Is it now Wanya Morris? And so now you're really as opposed to Jalen Moore sort of being kept in bubble wrap of just in case, but not exposed to injury until you're needing him as a tackle, so you're not in the tackle position you were last year. And at least the position that they're worried about, or the position that seems to be of issue right now, is not as important as left tackle.
No, agreed. No, I don't disagree. I kind of think Caliendo would be the guy I would tab first, and maybe even Norzad. I do somewhat agree with Jack in the keep Jalen Moore for tackle play, and then if guard play is that bad, then you could potentially look that route. But I would prefer him to be tackle.
All right, we're going to hear from Andy Reid right now.
Felix strained that hamstring. Most likely he's going to go on IR here, so this evening or this afternoon. Jack Cochran has a knee bone bruise. He won't practice today. Driscoll won't practice. Mike Edwards, the hamstring strain, he won't practice. Nazi Johnson had a shoulder strain. He won't go today. Omar had the ankle sprain and kind of re-hurt it or something of that sort. And then Jalen Royals has a knee tendonitis, and he'll be out. So, other than that, everybody's going, and this will be very similar to a in-season Wednesday practice. Now that we're back here, it gives the guys kind of a dry run to see how the meeting schedule goes for an in-season game, and also a practice goes. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
I know it's still a few days away, but would you anticipate the starters playing in this third game maybe a little bit more than you usually would?
Yeah, they'll start it off for sure, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Yeah.
You had the offensive line played some in this last one. Have you seen enough for what you'd like to see on that left side with the young guys? How much more do you need to see?
I like how physical they're playing, that for sure. The more reps they get, I mean, the better, I think, for them. But I think they're doing a good job over there, yeah.
You still switching philosophy to going from 2 to 3 with the starters. What went into that?
I wanted to give the best look we could to these guys that are trying to make the team. We've got some guys that are right on the border of making it. Give them a shot. Yeah. And I wanted to see the quarterback work with the one offensive line. Yeah.
Andy, I know you said it's expected that he'll be placed on IR, but if that's the case with Felix and that ending the season is just how disappointing is that for him entering obviously year 3?
Yeah, that's a tough thing. I mean, that's, you know, he's worked hard, so we'll see where it goes. I can't tell you how long it's going to be, but any time for that is disappointing for him. I know, because he works so stinking hard.
Coach, we always ask you about Josh Simmons, but we're going to get him here shortly. At 2 preseason games, body of work of camp, what is your evaluation of him as you prepare for the regular season?
Yeah, no, listen, I like the way he's approached it. Herbie, he's worked at it. He hasn't missed a beat here as far as missing a day or any of that. So he's been available, and he's working with Coach Heck on getting better every day. So I like where we're at right now, but we got to keep going. You know, he's a young guy, and but he's been working his tail off. Yeah.
And
Go ahead, Jess.
same thing with Kingsley, just
Yeah, I tell you the same thing. Yeah, Kingsley's moved into a new position, and those two they got a little something going there that you can see it more in the run game right now, where they're really working well together. And then the pass game, both of them are kind of feeling that part out. But they're doing a good job with it. We've been able to get some games in there against them. I thought they handled that well last week. Some of the blitz stuff, you know. So Kingsley had a couple trip-ups where the back stepped up and he tripped over somebody's foot there, back's foot. But other than that, he did a pretty good job there.
Are the challenges there going to be more technique individually with those guys, or is it going to be that communication and picking up some of the complicated twists and complex moves?
Yeah, well, they've been working double time on that, so we'll see how it goes with the game part of it and that. But then, talking through everything, they're going to see some new things for both of them, and how they handle that. We'll see how it goes when we get there with it.
When you go into a season with a rookie left tackle, with a guy left guard center play, was this just part of the process you knew was going to be part of the process going into it?
Yeah. So if you're in this thing long enough, you're going to have changeover, and you're going to have young guys that have got to step up and they got to play. So he's a talented kid and wants to be good and is working at it. Both of them are that way. Both of them are high draft picks. So. You got to get in and you got to go, and you're going to live with a few things, but you expect to see constant growth as you go, and similar to what we did with the secondary a few years ago. A lot of young guys, and early it wasn't quite as pretty as it was at the end. So,
yeah. With Kingsley, he had a lot thrown at him last year coming to the National Football League, making the position change. We can see what we see, a little bit we watch in the practice field and what we see in the games. What are you seeing from him that you like in the meetings, attitude-wise, and all that stuff for this challenge?
Yeah, Kingsley's a sharp guy. He's quiet, but he's a sharp guy, and he's welcomed in this left tackle, and they're trying to work that thing together, and at the same time, him doing his job, moving from tackle to guard, but. I like the way he handles himself in meetings. He's grown in that area, just attention to detail, all those things. I think it was good for him last year to get in there and play a little bit. And so we'll see how it goes here.
Last couple, Herbie, and then Nate. Go ahead, Herbie.
Coach, with the over the weekend news on Rashee Rice, have you heard from the league, and how do you prepare for this unknown period?
Yeah, well, we know, we've heard about the hearing part of it, that part. Then they've got to work all that out. I don't know the details of it. I don't think anybody does right at this minute. So we'll we'll see where it all goes. But we just, when we hear, we'll do what we have to do. So.
Nate?
Andy, what would you like to see this week out of Hollywood Brown? And is there a chance he could be out there on Friday just to get one sort of dress?
Yeah, so Hollywood did a little work yesterday, and which was good. He'll get a little bit more today, and then we'll just see. We'll see how he progresses through this thing. So, but he wants to. It's not a matter of wanting to be out there. He wants to do it. It's just taking it slow, so we don't want any setbacks with this thing going forward here.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, there's Andy Reid. Injuries there. Mike Edwards, hamstring. Najee Johnson, shoulder. Omar Norman Lott, ankle. Jalen Royals, knee tendonitis. Interesting. FAU, hamstring, is going to be placed on the IR. And we'll see if the Chiefs will use one of their 2 designations for FAU. You get 2 players that you place on IR designated to return this year.
Matt,
Will they use it on FAU? We'll find out. Here is
what did the intro tell you as far as explain
Matt Ariza.
as far as things that he just wanted you to take a step forward with this year?
You mean after the season?
Yeah.
He said the 2 main points were hang time and push bus, that those were kind of the 2 areas that I need to improve upon.
And what did you do? What did you do during the offseason to kind of attack both those things?
Both of them were understanding different contact points, trying different things, finding what works, finding what adjustments I can make, kind of tinkering, if that makes sense.
You talked about it, even talking to you last year, you seem to be a real deep thinker about punting. I mean, you get into the real bits of it and everything. So
yeah, it's hard not to. There's so many moving parts with punting that you'll find something one week that works great, and then it kind of goes away, and you know it's about finding the things that are consistent. But yeah, it's definitely on my mind a lot.
How do you just evaluate the preseason games so far and then training camp mixed in there?
It's been good. I'm happy with where I'm at right now. I'm, without a question, a better punter than I was last year. It's warm right now, so that obviously makes it a lot easier, and that's something that changes when you play here. But I think my top end is better. My good punts are going further and higher, and same with my bad punts. My miss hits are better, so that's 2 things I really like to see.
How did you feel when having an additional punter here might have challenged you in a way?
Yeah, it was good. Competition always pushes me. That's how I've always been, and now it's 3 times I've had competition in the NFL, and all 3 have gone my way. I do think it pushes me and elevates me.
what's practice look like for you in the offseason? You know, you got a bunch of guys here to help catch balls and all this stuff. You got a loan, you got people with you. I mean, what is a day working on those things look like?
Yeah, it's very different. So I'm from San Diego. My parents still live there, and that also kind of happens to be the specialist hub. So it's really nice. There's a lot of guys that come trained with Nick Novak and my strength coach Cody Smith for the off season, and so we actually have a pretty good group of guys that are in and out. Some guys live there in San Diego, but no, I have a pretty good group. But it's definitely the thing about punting is when you're on a field in t-shirt and shorts, it's completely different than when you're here with the rush and pressure and games and stuff. So the goals and stuff are a little bit different.
How often have you worked out with Thomas Morstead? He brings a lot of specialists together as well.
Yeah, he's a guy I haven't met. It's funny. It seems somewhat cliquey. There's different kicking coaches that guys seem to stay with. So Jamie Cole has a group. I've never gone and trained with them. Like I said, I'm with Nick Novak in San Diego, and there's certain guys that are there as well. But no, I've never met Morstead.
Harrison kind of goes through a different change with his process, and obviously, like his follow through this year is different than it was last year. When he tinkers with that, is there anything that affects you as far as what you have to do, or is it once you get the ball down, does it just not affect you?
That's a good question. He is very specific in what he wants out of the hold, and it will adjust based on the wind and how he's hitting the ball. So specifically, him going down to a knee or not going down, that doesn't affect me. But as the conditions change, as it gets windy, there's certain things that he expects from me.
Is that a little bit like calling a pitch or something for a pitcher and a catcher? Like you got a hold number one, hold number two? Or?
Kind of, yeah. We have a little language going, and yeah, it's good. It's been good to obviously my first year get that experience down, and now have a ton of confidence in it. And yeah, holding's definitely something I take pride in. Coming for the draft, it was something that was a big downside because I never did it in college, and so it was a big question mark. People thought I couldn't do it, and it's definitely something I take pride in and work at a lot.
So how many holds do you have? Like 3, 4, 5? How many different ones are there?
It's not necessarily that. There's just a couple different variables we change. So we change the tilt based on the wind. Then we can change the laces based on the aiming point. Then on top of all that, the other things you work on is speed. For us, that's a big part of us. There's some teams around the league that don't really require that. But when we watch film, we look at how many frames it takes for me to catch it and put it down. That's one way we evaluate the hold. And then another one is you want the ball to land how it's going to stay. You see some holders that will put the ball down one way and then they yank it at the last second, and that's terrible as a kicker. It's nice. I kicked a lot, so I have the understanding of what is good and bad from the kicker's perspective, so that's helped a lot.
How many frames is a good hold?
I think anyone under 21 is a good frame. We did a conversion to figure out how much time that is, but I forgot what it was. We just go based off of frames.
But are you the emergency kicker? Are you the Justin Reed of this year?
Yeah, I guess so. We haven't really talked about it, but yeah, now with Jay Reed gone, it definitely should be me. I mean, I think it probably should have been me last year since I had so much experience with it in college. But probably the trickiest thing is finding a holder that can hold lefty. Finding a backup holder is probably a bigger challenge, to be honest with you.
Aren't they just worried about you going down and covering kickoffs?
I would love to do that, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe in the future. Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, there's Matt Ariza, takes pride in the holding. I mean, that was an interesting conversation about the holding part of being the punter, that it's not something he did in college. It was something that was viewed as a negative and something he's now taking pride in, but all the different variables that he brings to the table with that. You're listening to KCFX HD for Harrisonville, WHB Kansas City, right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We will hear from Josh Simmons and Jalen Watson coming up here in just a little bit, but an interesting question about, Harrison Butker is trying not to go down to a knee when he swings through the way that he did last year, and then he had to have his knee cleaned up a little bit. And he said that does not affect him whatsoever. But the wind, the aim, the timing of the defensive rush all affects each individual kick. We'll hear from Josh Simmons right now.
How do you feel? I mean, is it different than maybe you were thinking a couple of weeks ago? Do you feel like there's been some progression for you?
Yeah, for sure. It's a great piece that you can take to practice every week and kind of build off of. And I think it's great for a rookie because you don't know what the speed of the NFL is. Like, the preseason is still different from week one. So if I could just take the little baby nuggets that I'm getting in the preseason and work on it for week one, it'd be good.
Are there some things you've already taken away that you want to work on and improve going forward?
Absolutely. I think just really right now, me being as fresh as I am in here, I'm just working on everything. No matter if it's like something athleticism, hand striking, just work on everything.
How important is the communication, not just even between like you and Kingsley, but even between you and Creed or Patch when it comes to the calls and everything?
Yeah, so I'm doing more of my communication, like usually with Kingsley or Creed and stuff like that, but it's vital. It's like you need that. Without that, I mean, you won't win any games or move any D lineman if you can't communicate, because then you're not going in the right direction.
Josh, I assume you go into week one, whenever, week two, whatever, knowing that there's going to be some stuff that you haven't seen before as far as blitzes and that sort of thing. How do you sort of prepare for the unknown? Is it just a lot of film watching? What's that process for you?
Yeah, film watching and just kind of playing like every O-line group does indie, and then you just kind of put yourself in that, real third down in Brazil kind of situation going against the Chargers, and then you just kind of go from there, just kind of putting yourself in the situation, practice. Yeah.
Have you felt like you've gotten more out of practice so far, or the times you've been in the preseason games? What's been the best learning stuff for you?
I would say a mixture of both. Being able to go preseason and having that meeting right after, and then being able to take it to the field and then clean it up. That whole process, I think, is what's works the best for me.
Do you feel like you've played enough so far in the preseason? I think you guys are going to play some on Friday, but you want more?
I absolutely want more of that. We had, I think, one drive like for Seahawks, and I was like, there's no way. Because then you get warm, and you're just like, yeah, you're done.
Okay. How do you evaluate those few snaps you got against the Seahawks?
For me, personally, obviously, Coach Heck will give me everything I need to know. But for me, I try to go technique, and then really just communicating. Obviously, you can't see, but just try to be over-communicative that way. We're going in the right direction.
Can you think back through training camp and even these 2 preseason games where there was a aha moment? I got this. This is nothing. This is second nature to me.
In preseason
Or even over the last month, is there a moment where you thought in your head, yeah, I got it?
I wouldn't say it was an I got it, but it was something, the cadence, like the way you got to be on time with that because these speed rushers are extremely athletic. So one tick late and, he'll be at Pat's front door in like a second. So you got to get off, like, even if you got to go with the cadence, like literally time it up perfectly, but you can't be late with the cadence. That's probably my only aha moment.
Couple more? Anybody?
Has there been any work as far as, your stance? It's because, sometimes tackles can have a tendency to sometimes tip plays a little bit. Have you had any concerns about that?
I do. It's tipping a lot of defenses and me just kind of kicking my foot back there. Like nobody, maybe except Joe Thomas, can run block out of that. So I've been something that I've been working on a lot, just to kind of square it up and be more universal in my stance. That way defenses aren't, it's path. So.
You feel like you're better at that now than you were maybe at the beginning of camp?
We're working on it for sure because I'm trying to get back in the pass set to the spot. These guys are a little faster than college, but yeah, it'll be fixed for sure.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh. Good question there at the end from Matt on the tipping the pitchers, if you will. Jeff Schwartz talked about that after week 1, preseason game 1, that you could tell by the stance of Josh Simmons whether it was going to be a run or a pass, where his left foot was. If it was closer to the line of scrimmage, here comes a run. If it was set back, then this is going to be a pass. And every time it was like that is what it was. He was tipping what the play was. And like he said, it's going to be try to be more universal at that, working on that specifically. But said, nobody can run block out of that stance with your foot back except maybe Joe Thomas. So, but yeah, we'll see if he can find a more universal spot for his left foot to be every time so that he can still pass block the level that he needs to, but also burst and get in a run blocking scheme as well. So it's interesting hearing that because clearly it's something they've been working on and he's heard about because it's something he has to improve on.
I think it'd be funny if you just did the opposite. You would throw the defense off. Keep your foot back.
Well, like you said, you can't run. Nobody can run block in that stance except for Joe Thomas. That's tough to have.
But if the defense thinks it's a pass,
that's a good point. Yeah, then they're going to be
trying
rushing
to play
up.
mind games.
Yes. So now you just throw him past. Throw him up the rushing lane. Like he's going to burst out trying to get around. This is clearly a pass. I don't have to go through him and hold him up and try to find where the run's going to be. So I'm just going to try to go around him. And now Josh Simmons just pushes him out of the way and then gets out in front. Now that guy's out. Now you're playing.
See?
Now you're playing 10 on 10.
Hey, call it
or 10 on 9. I should
call
say.
it foreigner because you're playing head games.
That's exactly right. That's what it is.
Drake, sing it. Come on, baby. Play me some head games.
No, he's not going to.
Dang it.
He's playing head games with you because now it's like, did he like that? Did
Drake,
he not like
it's
that?
urgent.
It's not.
I'm no foreigner.
We will hear from Jalen Watson, who is not foreign to being out there on the field for the Chiefs in the secondary. Hopefully he is out there every game this year for as many reps as possible this year at the cornerback spot. They lost a few cornerbacks in this game to injury. Nazeeh Johnson left the game early. Noah Williams left the game early. Christian Fulton didn't play to begin with. Yeah. So that's 3 of what their top 5 cornerbacks are.
Getting a little nervous about not just the cornerback room, but even Christian Fulton. I mean, I would have liked to at least see.
Hopefully he plays on Friday.
I hope.
Yeah. Hollywood Brown back to practice. Practice yesterday, practice again today. And Andy Reid saying they're going to take it. They don't want any setbacks with Hollywood. So this is one to where I'm not sure we see him on Friday night.
Yeah.
I think they feel like Hollywood over the last 2 years working with Patrick Mahomes, understanding the offense. If this was last year or this was Hollywood's first year in the offense, I think we'd probably see him on Friday night. Just to get him out there and playing, even if they have to risk it a little bit to get some of that timing down. But the fact that he's been there and then played in games last year with Patrick, offseason with Patrick, I think they're probably comfortable with not pushing it with Hollywood and hearing Andy Reid say that, we'll see how that plays out. We don't want any setbacks with that before the start of the season. That might be one of those, hey, Hollywood, you just take it easy till we get to Brazil, okay?
Yeah.
All right, because last year, lost you for almost the entire season on the first play of the first preseason game. Now we've lost you early on in camp. For most all of camp at St. Joe with this ankle injury. We'll see in Brazil.
That we all thought was very minor.
Like Justin Schultz, one of the Schultzes, saying that minor Hollywood could return to practice tomorrow. By tomorrow, he meant week 1. Or I guess that would be August 17th.
Yeah.
He can return to practice tomorrow if tomorrow was August 16th. Because he did practice yesterday for the first time. And now back to practice again today, doing a little bit more and a little bit more. I'd like to see, if we see Hollywood, it means that they feel really confident and comfortable with what he looks like and how he feels. I just don't know that they want to go that route.
I would rather see Christian Fulton than Hollywood Brown by a pretty wide margin.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah.
With the amount of injuries now sustained to the CB room, I feel like Christian Fulton, you got to see him, and not a traditionally healthy dude. Chiefs are going to need him to.
I mean, with already the questions around the secondary anyway, with what it looks like after Fulton and Watson, obviously with McDuffie in there as well.
Yeah.
But okay, what do you have now? You got Nazi. You got Josh Simmons, or Josh Williams. Because I don't think Simmons can play cornerback.
I'd be shocked. I mean, I know he's athletic, but...
Yeah. What an athlete, man. Marla Hooch, what a hitter. You got Josh Williams there as well. So you've got Trent and Jalen and Fulton and Noel, Nazi, Joshua, with Fulton, Noel, and Nazi not ending the game last week. Because Fulton didn't start the game and didn't play, and Nolan Nazi leaving early. But interesting news about FAU. If you didn't hear that, Andy Reid saying that hamstring injury is pretty significant, that probably going to go on IR. You are allowed now 8 IR spots in the season. You can designate 2 to return. So you play some. It used to be before the 2024 season, if you placed a player on IR before the cut down to 53, he was out for the year.
Yeah.
They changed that to allow you to have somebody on IR not count towards your 53 final cut down, but also you can designate 2 through the season for return. So that means if you lose one, if you use one on FAU, designate to return, that means if somebody goes on IR week 3, knock on wood, Juwan Taylor, somebody goes on IR week 3, and you designate him to return, if anybody else goes on IR, they are done. You can't designate him to return.
You'd have to just carry him on your 53 if it's a major piece.
Yes, you would just have to say he's on our 53. We're not going to put him on IR. We think he'll be back at a certain time. So the question then becomes, do they feel like FAU will be important enough
to bring
this
back
year to designate him as one of the 2?
So who did that help? Marlon Tuipulotu, Malik Herring?
Malik Herring, I think.
Probably.
I think it helped Malik Herring. Because I think, Dana, Karlaftis, Gelati, Amenahue are on the team, and that's 4 defensive ends. They typically keep 10 defensive linemen. You've got Pennell and Jones and Omar Norman Lott and Jerry Tillery. There's 4, so now you're at 8 total defensive linemen. So FAU, unless you traded them, you were going to lose that money anyway. So probably was going to be on the team as a former first-rounder.
Yeah.
That would have been 9. So maybe Tuipulotu or Malik Herring, one of those guys, Fabian Levitt, somebody like that. Or
veteran.
Or it means they go out and bring somebody else in now.
Yeah.
It means they go and make a move. There's talk about Azeez Ojulari being cut by the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean,
he's been an underperformer, so it's not like you're going out and getting, Khalil Mack.
No.
But it's somebody to add to the rotation that is an experienced player at defensive end, so that Malik Herring is not your 5th defensive end. If Ashton Gelati is taking a while to get up to speed, then you'd have Dana, Karlaftis, and Amenahue.
Well, not just that. You look at the defensive line on the interior. Jerry Tillery's not looked great.
No.
Omar Norman Lott's been rookie.
And now he has an ankle injury.
And, yeah, I the defensive line is looking a little lighter than maybe we originally thought.
Yep.
At least
and
in my opinion.
I was already concerned about the interior defensive line.
Yeah, and I was pretty enthused by Omar, and I liked the move for Jerry Tillery. I understood it.
I thought it was fine to be like, okay, you lose Turk, You get Tillery, who's more of a pass rusher. You hadn't drafted Omar Norman Lott yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens at defensive line. You gave yourself at least somewhat of a floor for what you were losing with Turk. You got something back there for what you were losing with Turk in Tillery. And then you got Omar Norman Lott. And with, Jones not in the game, it was rough for the interior. It was rough to watch Jerry Tillery in there in running situations, feeling like every single play was a third down and long pass rush. Let me just shoot this gap over here. Oh, whoops, that's exactly where they wanted me to go. And now I'm completely out of position, and the guy that was supposed to be blocking me can now move on to the next level because he just, pushed me out of the way, and I'm swimming to try to get past him. Like, yeah, dude, it's first down. Take on the block, see where it's at, shed, and then go attack, and then go pursue. Instead of just, I'm going to slip right through here. Oh, darn it, he went the other way. Shoot. Go get him, guys,
Yeah.
And then you have less than athletic linebackers behind him in this game against the Seahawks. That was rough.
So I wouldn't be opposed to a veteran cutdown day.
Yeah.
Preseason veteran cutdown.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Chiefs are probably going to take a pretty good hard look at defensive line.
I would hope so. Yeah, I would hope so. Tillery played 29 plays in that game. Mike Pennell played 6 in the game. He started, but was only in there for 6 plays. So, still waiting for Jalen Watson to hit the podium there.
If you're looking at defensive tackle specifically, let's look at defensive line.
Yeah. I was just looking at interior defensive line, but also defensive end could be, again, Aziz Ojulari.
Free agents right now, I'm looking at Christian Wilkins.
I mean, Wilkins, depending on when you think that foot's going to be healed. I mean, obviously there was a disagreement on the rehab.
Well, and make sure, you let him know, hey, don't kiss my dome.
Yep. Or he comes in and was like, look, man, there might be dome kissing around here. All right. I might kiss your forehead. Just so you know. It's totally playful. But I want to present that beforehand that there might be some forehead kissing that goes on in the locker room.
Yeah. Raise your hand. Who does not want their dome kissed?
Yeah. I just want to know. I want, you know what? Let me get pre-consent.
Yeah.
Let me get, before we even go down the road, I just want to know who I have consent with throughout the entire season. So therefore, I know if it happens, I don't have to then worry about that. That is just, you're aware of what takes place sometimes.
Christian Wilkins, the perpetual free agent, always Jadeveon Clowney, Jerry Hughes, who's 37.
I mean, they're $17 million under the cap, so they've got room to make a move.
They've also got room to sign.
They've also got room to extend Trent McDuffie,
Carl Lawson, Jordan Phillips. There's not much out there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, is there going to be some sort of a cut down? Is there going to be a guy that they move on from? Like last year, they got Samaje Perine at running back when that happened. And they ended up still having to get Kareem Hunt later on in the year. Juju was signed after he was released by the Patriots. Those are 2 veteran players that played significant roles on this team throughout the year, on into the playoffs and into the Super Bowl.
I guess the other guy, I know he's injured still, Janarius Robinson. Maybe this could be a good outlook for him. He had the fractured foot, correct, in the preseason game, but he looked good preseason game 1.
He might be just an IR
red shirt.
Just put him on IR, get him in the system another year, and see what happens next year during training camp with him. Certainly wouldn't be a designated return, and if he's got a foot fracture, I doubt he makes the 53.
Yeah, agreed.
So he's probably either just outright released or they place him on IR and move on from him. But are you going to use one of your 8 spots for the year on I don't know. This is all, the roster management. I don't know what it would mean if FAU goes on IR and is not designated to return, or goes on IR and is designated return because it doesn't count towards the 53. So somebody would be making the roster with the injury to FAU that wouldn't have made the roster because I think FAU was going to be on it. Maybe it just equals out the Rasheed Rice thing.
It's just
Rasheed Rice
now
was
we
not
roll
going to
with 9 defensive linemen instead of the traditional-ish 10.
If they feel like, okay, well, after week 4, FAU is going to be ready to return, so we don't need 10 defensive linemen right now because we're going to get FAU back and we're not going to have all of these guys active on game day anyway.
Is that the spot where maybe you're most concerned? Because for me, I think obviously left guard with what are they going to do?
Most concerned positional group is the interior defensive line after Chris Jones.
Yeah, I would.
Yep.
I would
it was a
concur.
concern going into camp.
I thought they did a fine. Again, I did not disagree with their offseason game plan. I guess I've just not seen maybe what I wanted to see from Tillery so far, and Omar Norman-Lott as a rookie, and I was very high on him coming out of college, but again, it's a rookie, and how much to expect from him obviously remains to be seen. So, yeah, I think that this is the spot where I'd have the most concern. Though cornerback room's starting to get a little thin after I thought it was a fairly deep room overall. You know how I talked about the potential trades of Josh Williams or Najee Johnson. I think that looking less and less like you might need to keep those guys in just in case, because at least they know the system and they've played actual games for the Chiefs.
The names that Jeff Kerr at CBS put out this morning, actually, he has 14 NFL veterans in danger of being cut. This came out this morning at CBS. Taylor Heineke, quarterback with the Chargers, Tommy DeVito with the New York Giants, and then Patriots guard Cole Strange, guard/center.
Wow, I forgot. He was a first rounder, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he?
With Belichick, yeah. Taysom Hill at tight end, Kendrick Bourne, wide receiver, Jalen Polk, wide receiver. So there's a few Patriots that might be just Mike Vrabel in there just cleaning house.
They're cleaning house, yeah.
Hunter Renfrow. If Renfrow was still on the Royals, then you would need to bring that guy in to the Chiefs. But Hunter Renfrow. C.J. Henderson, cornerback for the Falcons, but he's only been there for like a few days. And then Azeez Ojulari for the Eagles, Adoree Jackson for the Eagles, cornerback. So you got defensive end and then cornerback for the Eagles, Deontay Johnson, Cleveland Browns, Daniel Bellinger, the New York Giants, Darnell Washington, tight end in Pittsburgh, and then Van Jefferson with the Tennessee Titans attempting somewhat of a comeback, but we'll see.
Titans wide receivers, where you go to end your career.
Yeah, but those are the names that he came up with this morning, 8 days away from cut down. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Hopefully hear Jalen Watson coming up next. Still waiting for Jalen Watson. When he gets there, we'll hear from him, or we'll hear from him at some point today. Andy Reid, we heard from him, and Matt Ariza and Josh Simmons. Andy Reid giving an update to all of the injuries that were suffered in that game against the Seattle Seahawks. Mike Edwards left with a hamstring, Najee Johnson with a shoulder, Omar Norman-Lott with an ankle, Jalen Royals has knee tendonitis, and FAU has a hamstring injury that it looks like is going to result with an IR stint. We'll find out if he is going to be designated to return or not. Found out that the starters are going to play on Friday. Don't know how many plays the starters are going to play while they're out there, but they're going to play on Friday night. Hollywood Brown returned to practice yesterday, practiced a little more today. They're going to see how it goes, and they don't want to have a setback on the injury, so I don't know that we'll see him on Friday night. Josh Simmons talking about the big thing for him was getting used to the cadence, because he found out pretty quickly if you are not on that cadence to get your jump with the snap, the rushers in the NFL are going to go right by you. And Patrick Mahomes ain't going to be happy. So that was his big sort of welcome to the NFL. You got to figure this out before some of the other things even need to take place. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll talk with Joel Penfield coming up next. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, and the Drake heading up until 2 o'clock. We got Learn Funniest Best coming up an hour from now. News from Andy Reid, FAU with the torn hamstring is more than likely going to be placed on IR. You have 2 players you can designate to return from IR. That would have to be done on the official cutdown date of the 53-man roster next Tuesday to designate if they want to do that with FAU. Players on IR do not count against the salary cap, so if FAU were to go on IR, the Chiefs, in theory, could save up to $2.4 million in the cap. If they were to keep in FAU's place a rookie with an $800,000 salary, you'd save $2.4 million by exchanging FAU with that particular player. So they could save up to $2.4 million with FAU going on the IR. His $3.2 million cap hit would be taken off, while somebody else's cap hit would be added. So at the minimum, being added is like $800,000. So could gain like $2.4 million in the cap, which could put him at like $19 million under the cap. We'll see. Let's talk some Royals baseball now, and that means our guy Joel Penfield, One Royal Way podcast, joins us here in the zone on a Monday. Joel, welcome in. How are you, sir?
Doing great. How about yourself?
We are doing just fine. I appreciate you joining us and adjusting your schedule with the Chiefs and their talking. Let's discuss right away. You know, our conversation last week was a good conversation because the Royals did what they did, and now today another good conversation with them sweeping the Chicago White Sox. What do you take from this series? Is this the Royals starting to play, 2024 edition Royals baseball? Was this schedule opponent induced? How do you feel about what you're seeing from this Royals team over the weekend?
A combination of all of it to give a very definitive non-answer. I do think we saw some qualities of what this team was in 2024, which was score enough runs, pitch your butt off, beat the teams you're supposed to. And they did that for the majority of last season. Beating the White Sox like they did was a major reason why this team was able to make the playoffs last year. And they've continued to take advantage of that. The series in Chicago at the beginning of June notwithstanding, they've won 14 straight against the White Sox at Kauffman Stadium. That's not nothing. And they played this series, and they ended up winning in convincing fashion 2 of the 3 games. You take advantage of a shaky White Sox bullpen in the 7th and 8th inning and find a way to win a game. Last night, or yesterday afternoon, was more indicative of some of that 2024 team that was they're just going to continue to stack innings, and even if no runs come across, the at-bats are going to be solid. They're just going to find a way to stay in as long as the pitching keeps them in it. That's ultimately what we saw. Jonathan India with the big home run, Adam Frazier with the big home run, Michael Garcia with the go-ahead hit, and then the bullpen locks it down. There was a lot to take away from this that was positive. However, it's still the White Sox. We have to kind of take into that account and grade it on a curve a little bit. But we talked about it last Wednesday it was. They needed to go 5-1 in this stretch, and that's exactly what they did. And they left some meat on the bone, not coming through with a big hit late in that game against the Nationals. We could be talking about 6-0. But, it's hard to complain with 5-1 no matter who you're playing in Major League Baseball. So all signs kind of pointing north here with the big series against the Rangers coming up.
Yeah, they had the game on last Friday night, not the one against the White Sox, but against the Twins, when this 9-game stretch of teams that were pretty lowly started, and they lost that game on Friday night. And it's like, oh, that's a tough way to go about it. And so, you get ready for that game on Sunday. So the last 2 losses that they've had, they go 6-3 in this 9-game stretch, which is, the bare minimum of what really I think they could have gone. I would have liked to see 7-2, but 2 of your 3 losses, one of those was you were up 3-2 in the 8th inning in Minnesota, and then you were tied 7-7 against the Nationals in the 9th inning, and both of those ended up being a loss, and that's frustrating. You can't find a way to win those games. That was very 2024, was to win those games. This one was 2024 in finding a way to win the game. You were getting no hit through 5 1/3, whatever it was. You had a couple of base runners that was just a walk, and Bergard had done enough to keep you in the game, to keep you relevant. And then Jonathan India comes through with that huge hit. All 6 runs yesterday were scored with 2 outs. And so to me, they almost had to sweep the White Sox to be in this position that they are. They're a half game behind the Guardians. They're ahead of the Rangers. They are, 5.5 games out of the second wild card, 4 games out of the Yankees right now because the Yankees keep winning. This was a big stretch, and to me, even the fact that they're 6-3, I think there is feeling a little bit better because 2 of those losses could have gone either way. Win one of those, and you're 7-2, because typically you'd find a way to win one of those games late. They did not do that, and so they're 6-3. So I feel much better about where this Royals team is. It's still going to be an uphill climb, Joel, for them to make the postseason, but I have more confidence in how they're playing and what they're doing that they can get it done rather than when they would just, Joel, get close to 500 and then drop back and get to 500 and then lose a couple of games. Now they're a couple of games clear of 500. That feels like a little more confidence, a little more breathing room.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about last week as well, the playoff odds, and they were, 6.5%, 7%?
7%.
Last week. It's at 12.3% now after the weekend beating the White Sox. So you see a little bit of an increase there.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously not an exact science, but just indicative of where they sit. There's still it's still an uphill climb. They're going to need to stack some more wins together. Hopefully, you get a split or, optimistically 3 or 4 against the Rangers. They do that, they're going to put themselves in a much better position. And I think that's what they have to come out of this week. I'm not even expecting a series win, but if they can split with the Rangers, stay 2 up before a huge series against the Tigers, who have been kind of up and down in the second half of the year, and then you get the White Sox again, there's an opportunity to just keep yourself in it as you head to the end of the month and into the September, where it's going to be a sprint to the finish. But I think ultimately what we're going to see, whether they make the playoffs or not, they're going to keep themselves in position and stay competitive. I don't think this is going to be a team that completely bottoms out and falls out of it, with 3 weeks to go. I think they're going to be in it to the end, even if they do end up coming up short.
Yeah, it's a big stretch the next couple of weeks, and everything's going to be a big stretch with the games that are remaining. They've got 4 against Texas, and then they head to Detroit for 3 before 3 against the White Sox, and then returning home against the Detroit Tigers. But these next 7 games, while they play Texas and then Detroit, you've got Cleveland playing Arizona, and then Cleveland and the Texas Rangers play against each other. The Yankees have 2 games against the Rays, and then the Yankees and Red Sox play each other for 4 games. So there's going to be a couple of teams that are right around the Royals that are going to be playing each other. So winning a game that night for the Royals, you'd gain a game on somebody. So it's a big stretch of baseball for them. And the fact that after this Texas series, you've got 6 of 9 against the Tigers, and obviously one of the best teams in baseball that's back to playing a little bit better than before. You were at the game yesterday, Joel. Ryan Bergert in person, first time he's pitched at the K. He's got 3 starts under his belt with the Royals. Looks pretty good. What did you see from Ryan Bergert, and what did you hear from him in the locker room as well in the clubhouse when the game was over?
Yeah, he said it wasn't his stuff wasn't the best today, but he felt really good with the slider. He got, of the 7 strikeouts that he had in the game, 6 of them were on the slider. So he had a good feel for that pitch early. He had to work around some traffic. He gave us some hits, gave up the home run to Lenyn Sosa. That was the only earned run he had. I think the early returns here are, man, JJ did it again. And I know that it's a small sample, but they kind of found they found something with him. He's throwing his fastball less, throwing his slider more. They've mixed his percentages, and it's allowed the rest of his arsenal to kind of level up a little bit to go along with a fastball that metrically plays very well. It's kind of hard to tell, what a guy's going to do when it's, 100 degrees outside and terrible, and it's a guy that relies on some spin. But I really liked what I saw. That he has a sort of unflappability that Noah Cameron has, and maybe that's something, even though it's something you can't quantify, it's something that the Royals seem to really value out of their pitchers, guys that are able to just turn the page batter to batter. And he gives up the home run to Lenyn Sosa in the first inning and then punches out the next 2 guys with almost no problem. And when we've seen other Royals pitchers at times, stuff can just snowball on them, and the inning gets out of control after giving up a hit or 2. There was none of that with him. So for a rookie to have that quality, and they really have 2 rookie pitchers that have that quality, I think bodes well long-term for them as sustainable big league pitchers.
And I think the way the schedule goes the rest of the way, I actually think that Ryan Bergert will not face a team two different times. If he stays in the starting rotation, will not see a team the second time except for the White Sox right after they head to Detroit. He would be scheduled to pitch Wednesday, August 27th against the White Sox when he just pitched against the White Sox, because won't pitch against Texas. He'll pitch against Detroit, but then by pitching against the White Sox, he won't pitch against Detroit then. He'll pitch against the Angels. He'll pitch against the Guardians. He'll pitch against the Phillies. He'll pitch against the Blue Jays and then the A's. So, I mean, I don't know what to make of that, Joel, but, you know, it's better that if you're going to see a team a second time around for Ryan Bergert, who's a rookie, only the White Sox being the team. Everybody else, every other team that you're going to be facing is going to be seeing you in person for the first time as a big leaguer. I don't know what to make of that, but certainly it's better than seeing the Tigers 3 more times the rest of the way for Ryan Bergert.
Yeah, exactly. And by that point, you know, even though there may be a little more of a book on him, there's also the ability for him to adjust to what the league is doing to him.
True.
And they continue to mess with those percentages. They continue to stack some, you know, productive outings from him. And then it's just, you know, winning breeds confidence, and pitching well, you know, can lead one start into the next. So I think there is a lot to like here, and he certainly is making a case to be in the starting rotation in 2026 and beyond, and the early returns have been very, very good.
Is it just because of the mustache for Adam Frazier? Like, is there any other logical reason for him to be playing this way except for growing the mustache?
I will say, I being at the game on Saturday and Sunday, the mustache is elite in person. I mean, it just fits his personality perfectly, I think.
It's a league-leading mustache.
Yeah.
He's OPSing, his mustache is OPSing 980, so it's awesome.
I mean, it's great. And I know, you know, we kind of, in various ways, mocked, ridiculed, thought it was an unserious move. And I said it wasn't a needle mover on the show. Well, it turns out it is. And he has had a massive impact on this lineup and lengthened it significantly. And it turned from, well, you know, he's probably not going to play every day, or he's going to play 3 days a week, to, I don't know how you can keep him out of the lineup right now for this team. And so I think you just ride the hot hand with him hitting fifth or sixth in the order until the wheels fall off. But clearly there were qualities that they liked both on and off the field. He was a clubhouse leader last year. They clearly missed whatever he brought intangibly to this team. And apparently he's healthy. He, I guess, had some thumb injury last year that, you know, I'd imagine hitting is difficult with a busted up thumb. But I mean, that can't be the whole reason. So he's clearly playing with confidence. He's hitting the ball well. He's seeing pitches. He's now at 47% of his hits from 2024 in just the 20-some-odd games he's played in Kansas City so far. And if this team keeps rolling like this, I mean, we could be really talking about, yes, the addition of Mike Yastrzemski and putting him in the leadoff spot has had a massive impact. Moving Jonathan India down has impacted this offense. But adding Adam Frazier in, it could be a major reason why this team makes the playoffs. And I don't think you or me or Sterling or anybody that covers this team would have been saying that after the All-Star break when they made that trade for him.
I don't think Adam Frazier would have been saying that after the All-Star break when they acquired him.
But his teammates might, though.
That's a good point.
Like, that's the thing. Like, they love that guy in the clubhouse. I mean, the leadership and what he brought to that team last year went unnoticed by me and a lot of other people because of the statistics on the field. But clearly, there is a lot of value that he brings both now on and off the field for this team.
And here, J.J. Piccolo said they couldn't acquire their middle-of-the-order bat. They did.
I mean,
the whole
if
time.
Full-side homers every once in a while, that's pretty. That in addition to just, I've never seen a guy that can, in the modern game that can just fillet balls to left field with no problem, and it's just, I don't care, I'm just going to do it, and he's very good at it, and he's come through for a lot of times this year.
Guy slugging almost 500 for the Royals, Adam Frazier. J.J. Piccolo acquired a guy who's batting .330, getting on base at .354, slugging .474. I mean, a massive move for J.J. Piccolo to acquire that guy. Who knew he was out there and available for someone just to bring in and plug right into the 6 or 7 hole. But it is, in all seriousness, Joel, it does show the professional level of at-bats that were missing from this team for so many different games throughout the season that we were like, man, if the first 4 don't get it done, good luck. And now you've got Adam Frazier doing what he's doing. I don't expect him to be OPSing at 900 the rest of the way for the Royals. You've got Yastrzemski doing what he's doing in the leadoff spot, Grichuk playing his role, but also you've got Jonathan India, who is no longer leading off, and shout out Matt Quatrero. I mean, he takes a lot of grief for different moves that he makes, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's part of the manager's job is you make a move, it doesn't work, it's your fault. But Jonathan India was brought over to be the leadoff hitter, and he's batted leadoff. That's what he's done in his career. And they acquire Yastrzemski, and Matt Quatrero goes to Jonathan India and says, man, we're moving you down the lineup, and not just when there's a right-hander on the mound. It's a lefty, whatever. You're not going to be batting leadoff anymore. And all Jonathan India has done is OPS 950 since then. Small sample size of 8 games, but now you've got Adam Frazier, swinging the bat the way that he is. Jonathan India down at the lower part of the order. Yastrzemski looking like an actual leadoff hitter. Shocker, this offense is scoring 7 and 8 runs in a given night.
Yeah, and I think it's a testament to Jonathan India as well, to not get down on himself, to not, okay, well, I guess they just don't like me that much. Yeah. I'm not doing my job. And, he could have, taken it another direction. Instead, he's like, all right, let's just go win games. I don't care about anything else. Mm-hmm. And it's a team mentality of, if this is what the team needs and this is what we need to do to win, then shoot, I'm going to go do it. And it's paid off big time. And he was, even through all the criticism, he had been OPSing around 8-10 with runners in scoring position out of the leadoff spot this year. So I was like, okay, maybe just move him down, let him get more opportunities with runners on, and lo and behold, we're seeing it pay dividends for this offense immediately. And now this is where I think the Jack Caglione conversation gets interesting.
That's what I was going to go with.
This
nice
regard.
Job.
Because what did the organization say when the talk was Jack Caglione needs to be in the big leagues? He's too good for AA, he's too good for AAA. Well, we want the offense to be good so he doesn't have to have the weight of the world on him. And then they call him up because I think he was too good for AAA, and it was just the opportunity presented itself. It obviously, kind of fell on his face a little bit that first month. But now, think about how high the floor of the offense is. With Mike Yastrzemski in the leadoff spot, we know what 2 through 5 are going to give you day in, day out. Adam Frazier is going to give you pro at-bats. Jonathan India is going to come through for you. Kyle Isbell, sneaky, really good in the 9 spot right now. Jack Caglione doesn't have to have the weight of the world and expectation on him anymore. He can just come in and be himself and not have to worry about carrying any sort of weight for this offense because of what it's been doing 1 through 9 without him right now. I think you can inject him back in, and he provides a lot more ceiling for you because the floor is so high with what the rest of the lineup provides around him. You can afford for him to still take his lumps, but also if it clicks for him, the ceiling of the offense raises to a level that, then you're legitimately talking, playoff run and what you're able to do, moving forward at the end of September and beginning of October, theoretically.
Yeah, last 3 games for Cags in Omaha, he's got 2 home runs, 3 doubles.
He has 10 hits in 4 games on a rehab assignment.
Yeah. Clearly he's good enough to smash Omaha. My question would be, and then we'll wrap it up here, is do you upset the apple cart right now with what you're doing to bring up Jack Caglione, or he's down at AAA. If you need him, if somebody goes down, then you go and bring back, Jack Caglione up to the lineup. Do you mess with what seems to be working offensively right now to bring up Jack Caglione? And if you're going to bring him up, you need to be playing him.
Yeah, I do think that's fair. And to the credit, I know that everyone wants to immediately go to dunk on John Ray, but John Ray's got a 111 weighted runs created plus since the middle of July. So he's actually provided a pretty decent role for this team, and obviously stepping in like he did on Saturday when Vinny went down. Credit where it's due. But I do think long term, Jack is your answer. Yeah. And regardless of us having this conversation now, when rosters expand, they're going to bring him back up, and he's going to be a part of this. But I don't if they needed Jack to hit 5th, then yes, maybe you do upset the apple cart, to use your analogy. But if you're hitting him 8th, which I think is where they would put him in this lineup, I don't think it upsets too much. Yeah. And at that point, it's just get big league at bats. Let's get this figured out because he's showing, even on a rehab assignment, he's too good for AAA. The fact that guys are even pitching to him is pretty funny at this point because he's just doing damage against all of them, and it just shows the delta between AAA pitching and Major League pitching. And the only way for him to truly get better and to improve and to show any signs of changing an approach and doing the things he needs to do to be a solid everyday big leaguer, it has to happen at the big league level. Like, that's the only way for him to get better, in my opinion.
Also give you a chance that if Vinny's out and Salvi's not catching, that he can DH and not play first base like he did yesterday.
Exactly.
So maybe get Salvi a little more rest down the stretch. Joel Penfield, One Royal Way Podcast. Joel, you're the man. Appreciate it, brother. Enjoy the baseball. We will talk next Monday.
Sounds good, Jason. Have a good one.
Absolutely. You too. There's Joel Penfield, One Royal Way Podcast. Royals with a big weekend against the White Sox, gaining 3 games on the Guardians, a couple of games on the Rangers. Now they've got 4 against Texas. They will not face both Evaldi and DeGrom. They'll only face DeGrom. Evaldi pitched yesterday. They got Jack Leiter tonight, Al Leiterson on the mound for the Rangers against Michael Wacha. It's a big 4 games. I mean, every game remaining obviously is big. I mean, they've played 124. So, I mean, you're 4 games out. Every single game remaining is big.
My question would be is if Kaggs gets called up, who's then playing left field? Because Yastrzemski's played only right field.
Agreed.
And smattering of center, but he's not played left field, it looks like, since 2022.
Yeah, actually. You're playing left field for him.
Okay, I'll suit up.
Yep, see ya.
Give me a beer.
Gotcha. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, and the Drake. So here's what I've come up with. I've put together the defense and the lineup with Cags as well. Ready? Catching, oddly enough, India. Let's get crazy here. No, catching Salvi, like catching Kelsey, but catching Salvi. First base, Vinny Pasquantino.
Okay.
Shocker, I know. All right, second base, India. Shortstop, Bobby. Third base, Garcia. So there you go. Center field, Isbell. Right field, Yaz. And then left field, a Frazier, Lofton, Rave combo to some degree out there. Grichuk to some degree out there if need be. And then Cags DHing. So then your lineup could be Yaz leading off, Bobby batting second, Vinny third, Garcia fourth, Salvi fifth, Frazier sixth, India seventh, Cags eighth, Isbell ninth. And if you need to move some things around or, Frazier's out of the lineup or something, well, they've moved India up to the sixth hole as well. India's batted sixth and seventh. You could move India up to six and then Lofton or Rave bat seventh and just keep Cags at eight, or you slide Cags up to seven and move Rave or Lofton to eight, so you can break, if it's Lofton, you break up the left, right, left with Isbell and Cags. You want to do that, that's fine.
Sure.
But if Frazier keeps doing this, then you got to find a way to keep his bat in the lineup in left field or second base in some way, shape, or form. He's played, since he's been with the Royals, he's played second, third, left, and right.
We've all
DH.
said you have to keep Frazier's bat in the lineup.
Crazy, right?
We all knew that.
It's so crazy right now. You're like, you got to find a way to keep Frazier's bat in the lineup. That could be close to almost an everyday lineup. I mean, when it's a lefty on the mound, Yaz wouldn't be in there, but Grichuk, you then put him in right field. And then Garcia goes to the leadoff spot. Bobby's batting second. Vinny Pasquantino third. Salvi batting fourth. And then some combination of India, Grichuk. That may be a game where you sit Cags and go
this September 1st?
Lofton.
Or is this going to be before then? Because
I mean, I unless they need him before then, I don't think they're going to call him up before September 1st.
Because my point would be someone would have to get sent down in this scenario. And is it Tolbert? Is it Rave?
Yeah, I think this
or
is
a wait?
Yeah, no, I think this is September 1st, and the next couple of weeks, if they don't need it, they don't need it. Hopefully, they don't need it. Because as Q said on Saturday or Sunday, one of the days, he was asked about Cags and said, look, I mean, he's doing what he needs to do at AAA, but, if we need him, then we'll call him up.
Yeah.
But they're in a different spot right now. It's interesting that early in the year, it was like, no, J.J. Piccolo and Quatrero, sort of the feeling out of that was, hey, we want our offense to be performing well so he doesn't feel like he has to be the savior. And the offense was struggling to the point that it was like, man, you got to bring up Cags because you're trying to make the playoffs. Make sure you don't tell him he's the savior. Tell him he's not the savior. Hopefully he will feel himself that he's not the savior and just go out and play baseball.
And let's hope he's the savior.
And let's hope he's the savior. And if he struggles, well, okay, everybody else has been struggling anyway in that spot. So he's just joining in. The worst you can do is have somebody that's been as bad as you have been in that spot anyway. And that's ultimately, unfortunately, what happened with Cags. The irony now is what they wanted to happen was Cags be tearing up AAA and the offense be performing so that you can just bring up Cags and add him into an offense that's performing.
Yeah.
Now that that's happening, it's almost like, I mean, do you want to bring up Cags and place him into the line? Or do you feel like, hey, what we have going on right now is pretty good, so let's stay with this? If you're scoring 7, runs per game, over 5 runs per game, do you stay with this? Or do you capitalize on what you've done offensively, piecing it together so far, and then throw in somebody with, 70 power at your number 8 spot?
I almost just say Midnight Star. Don't rock the boat. Don't rock the boat, baby. I don't think...
Don't tip it over.
The reason why, because I think your roster construction at this exact moment, before September 1st, of course, is solid. Because if you call up Cags, he's been in right field. Grichuk's only in right field. Yaz has not played left field since 22.
Mm-hmm.
you're just stuck with a whole bunch of right fielders. And if you send Rave down, I know we've had our concerns with John Rave, and I think bat-wise, I think I prefer Kaggs, but Rave overall has been okay with the bat
and
recently.
Rave can play all 3 outfield spots.
But he can play all 3 outfield spots.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. Unless you trust Grichuk and Yaz to play left field, I don't think you're putting Kaggs in left. I don't think you're going to say, hey, I know you're a first baseman and you've been pitching. Yeah, I know you just learned right field. Yeah, go play left as well. I know it seems easy for maybe the average person, but just the way the ball comes off the bat is so much different.
I think if you bring Kaggs up, if Yaz isn't out there, then you'll put him in right field. But if Yaz isn't playing, that's because there's a lefty on the mound. So are you then going to keep
Kaggs.
Definitely Kaggs is now against the lefty on the mound. You're also going to put him in the field and play right field. So I'm not sure that you would have him play right field. It might just be Kaggs, your first base DH. And that's it. Salvi, when you have a day game after a night game, you're going to be DHing, and we'll figure something else out for Kaggs. Or Vinny, we're going to get you a day off, and Salvi's catching. So
I don't like Salvi or
Kaggs,
Vinny's
you're gonna
bat
be over
out of
first?
the lineup at all.
No, I agree. Find a way to keep those guys in the lineup.
Vinny, Salvi, Michael, and Bobby need to play every single day, or at least at some point DH every day for the rest of the season.
But it could be to where if you need to give Vinny a day off in the field, Jack can play first. Because right now, clearly the feeling is when Vinny's not playing first, it needs to be Salvi.
Yeah.
So Salvi, day game after a night game in the brutal heat, still went out there and played first.
Yeah.
While obviously Maley caught. But, Salvi's played every single game since the trade deadline, and it's, first base, catcher, first base. Vinny had to leave the game, then came back. I'm thankful that it was just him getting sick, and it wasn't I'm not the only one that thought, oh God, there's an oblique and there's the season. If because he's got that violent swing and that torque, and it's like, man, there's so much stress there on that left side, and then he sort of looked like he was feeling like, oh God, that's an oblique. There you go. It's to Vinny. They're gonna call Kaggs up, but he ain't gonna replace what Vinny was offering. And, good luck now. And those obliques are things that can linger. That sucks. And then it was that he was, just getting sick. Okay. Sucks for him. I apologize. Yeah. It sucks. But it's like, okay, good. Good. You're only throwing up, Vinny. Sorry for that coming off as callous as it seems. But considering the alternative when we talk about obliques being real issues in Major League Baseball, you can get Vinny some days off and have him DH. You can get Salvi some days off and have him DH and still have, Vinny's bat in the lineup. Is that a game where Kaggs is playing right? I don't. Maybe Yaz gets a day off that day, and you have all of those guys bats. You can figure some things out if you're Q. If you were to bring up Kaggs right now, it's easier to figure some things out when you add 2 more players to your roster, and you can add Kaggs to your roster, and maybe that's just simply your DH at that point. And you move forward with him DHing and batting 8th.
Yeah, because if this team keeps winning, I would prefer Yaz over Kaggs. Yaz over Kaggs at this point. I mean,
especially
against
righties. I mean, you got a guy who's especially at the leadoff spot. Like this offense has changed with India down at the 6/7, mainly the 7, and Yaz in the 1. Like this offense is different now when that guy is getting on base the way that he is. The 10-pitch walk that he worked. Good God, that was brilliant. He was down 0-2.
And so to me...
And feeling a little stiffness or tightness in his back. There's
really only 2 guys I feel like I'm really looking at, and that's Rave and Lofton. Because Tolbert doesn't really...
Tolbert, you ain't messing with him.
Yeah.
He's coming off the bench and stealing bases.
Yeah,
so his spot's safe.
Only 2 guys that you're really looking at, and one's a righty. So you're looking more or less, I think, at Rave, and Rave's been fine hitting-wise since All-Star break-ish on, and so... Again, I don't know if I mess with it until September 1st, unless something happens, or let's say Rave goes for 0-20, or Adam Frazier reverts back to the Adam Frazier of last year. But at this point, you ride the hot hands and say, this is a good thing for Kaggs. Keep learning. I know you've apparently already mastered AAA. This is all you need. But I don't think you mess with a good thing at this moment.
Yeah, and if you go through 3 or 4 games where, you're struggling offensively and you need that – actually, okay, then let's look at it. But you're 12 days away, which is a lot. That's a lot of games that you're playing when you're in this hunt to try to win a wild card. So 12 days, that's a lot. But, you're close to the September call-ups anyway to where you can expand your roster. I think hearing Q say like, well, if we have a need, then there's no problem going and getting Jack Caglione. I think they are way more willing this go around to take some more time with Cags than last time when he played a couple of weeks in AAA, and they're like, well, let's get him up, because clearly he can mash against AAA pitching.
We know that.
He's just got to figure out when he gets up to the big leagues just to see ball, hit ball, because he was in his own head. I mean, going down to AAA now and just hitting, just 3 games, 3 doubles and 2 home runs in the last 3 games.
And luckily they're not treating him like Victor Robles. If anyone saw that, he got hit now 5 times.
Maybe that was going to be part of Learn Funniest Best for me. I don't know.
Sorry. Okay,
No,
I'll stop.
I'll
stop.
But at least Cags is throwing the bat at the baseball.
Yes, correct.
Cags is throwing his hands to the ball, and the barrel's following, and the ball is following over the fence or ripping doubles and huge exit velocities like we saw before he was called up. Maybe this go around he'll just simply see ball, hit ball, and not take a fastball down the middle and then swing at a curveball outside.
Hear me out. Royals might need some lefty help out of the bullpen. Cags.
That's a good call.
Come on, baby.
It's a good call.
And then you can pinch hit.
So now you actually have 3 players on your roster that you've called up with when you expand in September. You got 27, 28/29 Cags pitching and hitting.
Yeah. Can he be Sam Long?
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. I think there's probably a decent
everyone
chance.
listen, I'm being facetious.
I'm not. I'm not. If you need somebody to get out on the mound and pitch, he at least offers that, If you need somebody to go and hit, you got Lorenzen, you got Urseg. This is a really versatile
it's really
team,
versatile team,
You need an extra pinch hitter, Lorenzen. You need somebody else to go and play the outfield, Urseg. You need somebody to come on the bump and go and pitch an inning or a couple of batters or something. I guess at least 3, unless you finish the inning. Cags.
That would be hilarious at a time where, you use all your pitchers. You know when they use the 9 relievers, and they're like, okay, Thomas Hatch, we actually don't want to go to you. Cags, you're going to come in.
Bring in Cags over like somebody who's actually pitching.
That'd be great.
Sam Long's like, hey, what the hell?
It's an important – the game's tied. What do you – yeah, we feel better with Cags. Sorry.
You're even losing your DH. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
We have a good feeling about this.
Do you have to face the 3 batters if you don't actually leave the game? Could they just like have Urseg and Cags just keep switching forth between
the Cubs?
That's a good point.
Who's the Cubs manager? Not Theo Epstein. The Cubs manager used to all the time.
Who, Piniella? When Piniella was managing?
Council?
No, it wasn't Piniella. Who was it? I thought it was the Cubs. Was it the Cardinals?
I don't know, but I was just wondering, do you have to do the 3 batters if you're not actually leaving the game? If you're just
if you're taken off the mound for pitcher to move to the outfield, can you then return to pitch? I mean, because you're not out of the game.
I don't know.
But can you return the pitch, though? I would guess not. But you're not taken out of the game.
Was it Joe Madden?
That won the World Series with the Cubs?
No, I'm trying to think of... Maybe it was Joe Madden.
I don't know.
I can't think of it. Whoever it was, they used to do that. Maybe it was the Cardinals. It was Cubs or Cardinals. What they would do is, if lefty-righty matchups, instead of losing that guy, they'd put the pitcher out in left field and then have the other pitcher come in, and then they would swap back and forth.
So then the pitcher would go back on the mound?
So then the pitcher could go back on the mound.
But I think that was before the 3-batter rule.
That was before the 3-batter rule, but I think you know what I'm saying? Could you do that is what I'm trying to say is, could you do that? Now, this is obviously a hypothetical that will probably never, ever happen, but we want to talk about these hypotheticals that probably won't happen because they're fun. We never thought Anthony Rizzo would play second base and then, all of a sudden get second base eligibility for fantasy baseball. Boom. You're welcome, America.
Well, I mean, depending on how many games he had to play. Some people have
5.
Some people have a real league where you got to play 20 games because, this is
we do a real league.
I don't know what you do. I don't know what you
welcome, pal.
Is that right?
My team, De La Cruz Missiles, first place. No longer have Ellie De La Cruz. Traded him.
Yeah. You don't have to
I need to change my name, though. It's like too late.
Yeah. Doing this would be like, when Tony La Russa would bat the pitcher 8th. Like, wow, he's batting him 8th. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. That's just genius. How do you get Pujols to bat in the first inning but then become your cleanup hitter? What if we bat the pitcher 8th? Whoa, that's mind blown. Who would have thought? Now you can just Urseg and Kags. It's a great call by Drake. Urseg and Kags. So there you go. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. That's a great learned for me, but we'll still do Learn Funniest Best coming up on the other side of the break. More Zone next. but I just learned about it this weekend. I learned that teams can get sued for not being good.
Oh, wow.
Let's head to Colorado. Fan of the Colorado Rockies is suing the Rockies organization after he was hit by a foul ball.
Okay.
In the lawsuit, his lawyers argue that the stadium has some architectural elements, including an overhang that limits the ability of people to see objects coming from the field.
Sure.
But this is what's getting the attention. The lawsuit also included poor performance on the field means many spectators are not paying attention to the game in play.
Incredible.
They have added that to the lawsuit, that because the Rockies are so bad, my client was not paying attention to the game because you didn't offer a good enough product, and therefore he was hit by a foul ball.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say this one, he's not going to win. I'm going to go ahead and just throw it out, considering you'll see signs at every single ballpark everywhere that says, your ticket says, beware of
I don't see this being frivolous at all. I don't see this being frivolous at all. I think this is a great case.
I remember several years ago, one of the minority owners of the Dallas Mavericks sued Mark Cuban for mismanagement of the team, and it was the year that they won the championship. So Mark Cuban's team just submitted a photograph of the trophy.
That's incredible.
And won.
I would guess that mismanagement. We could have swept the series had you not mismanaged this damn team.
Hey, they traded Luka Doncic. You can make the case that they mismanaged the current Mavs.
Maybe. I don't know.
But then they got Cooper Flag.
They just show a picture of Cooper Flag being drafted and like, see what happens? We did it right. But apparently, at least, I'm not saying that you would win the lawsuit, but you're suing the team for them not being good, because had you guys been better, I'd have been watching the game. But you sucked, so I wasn't paying attention. I get hit by a foul ball. Maybe if your player was better, he would have hit it in play. That's the next one. I'm suing that player because he couldn't get enough of the bat on the baseball to not foul it off right to me.
Yeah.
So it's his fault.
Hey, you could have got a ball, guy.
I learned about
maybe
that.
He did catch it.
Apparently, he got one right to the dome. Maybe, I don't know.
Pow! Right in the kisser.
Yeah. So what'd you learn this weekend, Sterling?
So I downloaded Madden 25. Not a big Madden guy traditionally, because it's the same thing, just a roster update. But I go, all right, fine. I'll bite. I'll get the new Madden. It's been a while. This is worth the roster update. They changed the kicking on it, and I don't understand how to punt in the game. I've tried, and I have 5-yard punts every single time.
Why do you punt in Madden? Just go for it every time.
I won 37-34 in my one game.
Without punting.
Without punting. No, I punted 3 times, and twice, and each punt was 5 yards. I don't know how to punt, and so I'm horrible at it. And so now at 4th and 12, bleep it. Someone down there somewhere.
Yeah. 4th and Mahomes.
4th and Mahomes, because my punts, the first one I think went backwards. It was windy. It was in my face. I think it went backwards. I don't know how to punt in the game. So I learned that the new Madden 25 punting and kicking is extremely different than in years past.
Yeah, negative punt, that's tough for your net.
Yeah, it was
tough
tough
for the net on the day for your punter. That's too bad. Was that a Ryza?
No, I do a fantasy draft always. I think it's more fun to do that way.
Okay.
And
do you play with the Chiefs with the fantasy draft?
No, because then I don't like doing that. I like picking a random team. I might be Jacksonville or Arizona or something like that. I pick a random team.
Duval.
Yeah, I always pick random teams. Maybe the Saints. I don't want to do the Chiefs because, from the Chiefs, I want the Chiefs. I need Mahomes out there.
Okay, but there's a chance with the Saints you could end up with Mahomes.
No, because I did a fancy draft, and whoever I pick. I'm not choosing. If I was 1-1, I would have picked Mahomes, or 1-5, but he was gone by then.
You get to pick it. It's not just dispersed to your team.
It's just randomized.
Here's your team. Here's a randomized team.
You get to pick your team, but
Russell Wilson's your quarterback.
You pick your guys, but I think I pick 15, and I think I went C.J. Stroud. I'm like,
good for you, smart. Yeah, that was your first pick. Was a quarterback.
Yeah, I had
to.
Stupid.
I'm joking.
It's a dynasty, not fantasy football.
Oh, okay. So it's actual real football.
It's real football.
So quarterbacks are the most. So what you're saying is you'll probably go 15 to 20 quarterbacks deep before you pick a different position.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the case. Yeah, in real football. Drake, what did you learn this weekend?
Well, about 15 minutes ago, I learned Mick wasn't going to be here, even though he's on the show sheet. But
My bad, I didn't take it off.
The main thing I learned this weekend was that an NWSL game can have a heat delay.
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I guess people came out. They had a big thermometer at center field and in the center of the field, and people came out every 15 minutes, looked at it and said, nope, can't play yet.
You got to have a certain reading twice in a half hour, and it's got to be at a certain level. What I learned from that is that Mahomes was willing to stick it out. I mean, you got Bronze and you got Golden and you got Sterling there and the whole family. Oh, you weren't?
No.
Okay, well then their oldest daughter was there.
Oh, okay.
The other Sterling and the Mahomes family. And just waiting it. That's tough with kids though. Waiting out a delay like that.
How hot was it? I mean, why couldn't you just?
There's a certain temperature that has to go. Now they also
imagine telling Andy Reid that. Andy Reid would say, "Get out there, go yak for me."
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they kept trying to water the field. I don't know if that made it like worse. If that then made it like at the field level like
steamy,
and the temperature then rose based on that. You would think that the water would then cool it down. I don't know how it works. What's the dew point on that whole thing? Not sure. But yeah, that was a long delay for the current. The current weather was double meaning at the time.
Yeah.
What's the current weather? What was the funniest for you from the weekend, Sterling?
Yeah, so I'm at the urinal at
that is funny.
at my softball game. And I retired, but they needed me. They needed me to come out of retirement.
They
for
needed you to go to the urinal?
Well, it was before the game, and I'm playing third base. Got to make sure, I got to be out there quick. And I'm at the urinal. All of a sudden, someone comes up next to me in the urinal. It's Jack Johnson. He didn't recognize me at first, and then all of a sudden we're right by each other in the bathroom. He's like, "Oh, hey, Sterling." So what that
don't
says.
talk to me in the urinal.
You can talk to me all you want.
Don't talk to me in the bathroom.
I
weirdo.
love talking to people. That's how you get to know them. They're honest and open, right?
At that point, yes.
True. So I thought that was funny. That at least for me, seeing Jack, and he didn't really recognize me until we were at the urinals. So we both saw each other there. It's fun.
I'd recognize. What was the funniest for you, Drake?
What?
He didn't recognize
Jason?
you until you were at the urinals.
Yeah. It was in the clubhouse yesterday after the game. The first couple of questions here with Jonathan India.
How about Homer feel?
Felt great.
Take us through the Homer, please.
Is that the question? Or
That was Vinny Pasquantino from the other side of the room shouting out the questions.
Homer feel. Great. Take us through the Homer.
Yeah.
Oh, he's been interviewed a number of times, hasn't he?
Yeah. And India didn't seem he was like, "Come on, guys, let's really get it started." But it was I found it very amusing.
You should have played the role of Dick Cagle. Just say seventh inning. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how Dick did it.
Yeah. Seventh inning. Okay. Is there a question there? Yeah. Seventh inning. Go talk. Seventh inning. You hit the home run. Go. What happened? You should have played that role. I wonder what Jonathan India's response would be to Dick Cagle there. My funniest from the weekend, since you guys didn't use either of them, I'm going to use both of them. My funniest from the weekend, one, was Victor Robles.
Yeah.
That he gets hit by a pitch. He's so mad about it, but he also got hit in the chest because he was swinging at said pitch. He's swinging, and then he opens his chest up to the pitch, and it hits him, and then he gets so mad that he then flings the bat at the pitcher, and then later on he gets down to the dugout and then throws the cooler out of the dugout onto the field. But apparently he keeps getting hit by pitches down in the minors on a rehab assignment, and this one had gone too far, so he decided that the bat would be used as a weapon towards the pitcher. A little bit different than Delmon Young, that was walking away from the umpire towards the dugout when he flung the bat behind him, that then came back into the screen, looking like this flying sword that then hits the umpire. That was a long time ago. This one was picked up and just flung at the pitcher, and then he starts walking towards him with just fists, no other weapons.
Malintent.
Yeah, no other weapons though, except for his hands. I don't know if they're registered or not. My other funniest is...
by the way, quickly, I think he had been hit 5 times already in his minor league rehab assignment. This guy hit him apparently last week and also hit him in the majors, I believe, like last year. So, and I do...
Did
yes,
Robles
he did.
did Robles hit on his girlfriend or something?
He did swing, but I think part of it, too, was he was almost trying to get out of the way, too.
True.
It was a little bit of like a...
Starting to swing, but then you're trying to dodge.
You're trying to protect yourself, basically.
Yeah. My other one, I felt bad for Cynthia because she's on the Broncos broadcast in NFL Network, and during the broadcast, she's giving a sideline report about Micah Parsons. Okay. a Denver Broncos fan account, something like that, created a fake Micah Parsons quote.
Yeah.
And attributed it to Micah Parsons' podcast, On the Edge with Micah Parsons. So Cynthia's just giving a report on Micah Parsons and what the future in Dallas could be. And we'll see. And she's given the stats of what the defense does and pressure rate with him on and off EPA, on and off the field. And then after she's done talking, they put up a graphic that says Micah Parsons on the Edge with Micah Parsons podcast, and a picture of Micah Parsons that says, quote, "My dream destination, Denver. I'd love to play for the Broncos. They already got the best defense in the league, and they have a real chance at a Super Bowl," end quote. Which was the quote that was made up by the fan site.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't
then
a fan site. It was just a guy on Twitter.
A guy on Twitter that's a Broncos fan that made it up, and it made it into the NFL Network broadcast. And I felt bad for Cynthia because she wasn't giving a sideline report about the quote.
Yeah.
She gave the sideline report about what the defense is with and without Micah Parsons on the field. And then they put up the quote, and the guys back at the up in the booth started talking about it and then reading it about, Sean Payton's got to feel pretty good about Micah Parsons saying that they can win a real chance of winning a Super Bowl. And I was like, oh, no.
That's
it was rough.
Very funny.
Yeah.
And normally I think those things, the fake news, all that stuff can be lame. This one actually made me chuckle, though.
Yeah.
That one made me chuckle. I full transparency. That was relatively funny.
Yeah. Drake, we start with you. What was your best from the weekend?
Just sweeping the Sox, because we've been talking about how these series need to get swept, and to see them finally do it, and it was fun being out there. It was a great day for baseball. It was great.
Yeah. My best from the weekend was that as well, in seeing the Royals have a weekend where they can just take care of business and do what they're supposed to do against a team like that. And it's, feeling like not dismissing that it's the White Sox, because we would have clowned them if they didn't win.
Yeah.
And they won that game, so credit where credit is due. And so there were a couple of other small ones along the way, but just the overall weekend, it was fun to watch baseball that the Royals were able to come out with the victory in those games. What was the best for you from the weekend, Sterling?
We went to Jack Stack for my uncle's birthday, and I got him a balloon. First off, my dad didn't let me know that we were going out to eat for lunch. We all thought we were meeting at my parents' house and eating there for lunch. No, and so I get my uncle. He loves cheese, so I got him some good cheeses. And I bought him a balloon because that'd be kind of funny to give him a balloon. He's, I don't know, 60. That'd be funny just to buy him a balloon and some cheeses. Well, because I think it's at my parents' house. No, it's at Jack Stack. So I have to bring in a 100-degree car a balloon, hoping it doesn't pop, and a whole bunch of cheeses, which I bring, and then inside Jack Stack, I can't leave those in the car. The cheese would just get hot. Balloon would totally pop. So I bring him cheese inside Jack Stack. And when he's not really looking, I clip the balloon to the back of his shorts. So he's walking through Jack Stack, and he doesn't realize it. There's just a balloon attached to his shorts trailing him. Here's a picture. I find this very funny. People are just all of a sudden looking at my uncle.
Amazing.
Doesn't really like attention, but I thought it was very funny. Just clipped it to the back of his shorts, and it's like almost hitting people at their tables, but not quite. And so everyone's just perplexed looking at this. So if you saw a 65-ish-year-old man walking through Jack Stack with a balloon on him, that was my doing.
Nice. That's good for you.
That was a pretty good prank. Like, that's pretty.
Yeah, it's nice. Good for you. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back and wrap up the show here. Coming up next on the Sports Radio 810 WHB. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. A little news from around the NFL.
News?
Joe Flacco named the starting quarterback in Cleveland. So with the injury to Shadur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel banged up, Joe Flacco will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. There you go. We also have some news out of Cincinnati.
Oh.
The Bengals have let teams know that they are open to trading Trey Hendrickson. And one team that has reached out to the Bengals said the asking price is a young defensive player and a first-round pick for Trey Hendrickson. Plus, if you trade for him, you'd have to pay him. So that's going to be a little too rich. Diana Rossini said that the feeling around the league was that the Bengals would have got more in return if they'd have traded him before the NFL draft, but they have waited until now to try to trade Trey Hendrickson, wanting a young defensive player and a first-round pick for Trey Hendrickson.
Here's what I can offer you. FAU, former first-round.
Young defensive player.
And young defensive player. And, well, you know what? I'll do it. Throw in Sky Moore.
Oh, man.
Second
Can
rounder.
you give him up?
I know.
That's a young defensive and offensive player. And it may be like a fifth-rounder?
And Trey Hendrickson. Team-friendly deal. That's what I'm prepared to offer.
But how much is that ring going to be worth, Trey? The ring you could be wearing at the end of the season.
Oh.
What's that going to be worth to you in a team-friendly deal?
I don't know. It's got to be worth at least a couple thousand.
Yeah, right. At least like
a couple thousand, probably.
$75,000, $100,000.
I don't know how many carats are in there.
Yeah, I mean,
a few carats probably.
There's got to be a couple different carats in there, and the diamonds have to be really nice too. So I mean, I'm not sure what all you want to dress it up with. I'm not sure with Trey Hendrickson, but the Bengals are looking to trade Trey Hendrickson. Which, if they do that, I mean, how good is that defense going to be? Oh man, just so good.
Is that going to be the worst defense in football this year?
I think it would be. in the running, yes, for the worst defense if Trey Hendrickson is not on the field this year for the Bengals.
I mean, the defense last year was 2 scoops of ass.
Boy, Al Golden is going to have to coordinate his ass off if he's going to be able to get that defense to anything but bottom 3, 30, 31, or 32 in whatever defensive metric that you can have.
Feels very Bob Sutton.
Oh, 100%.
Esque.
100%.
You look at the depth chart.
Feels
of that
also
defense.
like, man, get as many Bengals players on offense as you can.
Yeah,
for
they're going to be
fantasy.
throwing.
I mean, it's just going to be score, score, score.
So
I mean,
Shamar Stewart, Miles Murphy.
Yeah, well, okay, cool. There's
B.J. Hill.
Miles Murphy that I think has done the same amount as Shamar Stewart's done in the NFL.
Yeah. Logan Wilson, who's solid. I'll give him Logan Wilson, so they at least have a good
They've got a few solid
middle
players.
linebacker.
The problem is with the defense, it's a zero weak link sort of side of the football.
I do like Geno Stone, but he had a bad year last year, but I would bet on him bouncing back. But, yeah, man, overall, there are so many weak links on that defense where it's you see a couple names like, oh, that's Geno Stone or Logan Wilson.
Hill.
And then
okay,
Dax Hill, fine, slot corner,
right.
he's fine.
And then
you're
it's
like,
Hendrickson, can he get there or not? Can Trey Hendrickson get there? Well, I mean, if he's going to get to the quarterback, it's probably not going to be wearing a Bengals jersey.
Well, and if you look at the Bengals, I mean, their offensive line already isn't great. I mean, they spent a draft pick on, obviously, Marius Mims. We'll see how second year in the NFL. And Orlando Brown Jr. obviously is still there, but it's just a weird roster construction of a team that feels like they have no idea what they play fantasy football. That's what it is.
Right, yeah.
They think that fantasy football is real football. That's the Bengals' issue.
Well, it's a great strategy because they're like, look, 2021, we made the run to the playoffs and the Super Bowl with amazing defense and a quarterback that did just enough. We had Joe Burrow throw 4 touchdowns with 2 interceptions to win the 3 games to get to the Super Bowl. And we held these teams to 20 or fewer points, like an average of like 16 points per game. What if we just went crazy on offense and just scored? What if we just did that and abandoned all defensive principles? Let's try that strategy. So there you go. Colin Saunders traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is no longer a New Orleans Saint, so that is one less Chief that's a Saint. Yeah. They added Reed and Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the offseason, but they took away now Colin Saunders. So, that's tough for him. He's no longer around his teammates for the last
10 years.
He's no longer around the Chiefs South. When you're done playing for the Chiefs and they have got the prime years from you, you can then head down to New Orleans where you grew up and went to college and played, and that's cool. Justin Reed went down to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Both the guys
Matthew,
played.
LSU.
Right, Tyrann Mathieu.
He was an LSU guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, LSU guy. Obviously, Clyde was LSU guy. Justin Reed, not an LSU guy, but from Louisiana. His brother went to LSU. He went to Stanford, but a Louisiana guy. You got Willie Gay going down there.
I forgot that Clyde is a Saint.
Yeah, he's a Saint.
I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
He was a nice guy. He's a Saint. Good job.
Yeah, well, there you go. He's
I really forget. He had 13 carries last year.
Is that right? 13 carries last year? That's all he had?
For the Saints?
Or last week? You said last year.
Last year. Clyde had 13 carries last year.
That's all he had last year for the Saints?
46 yards.
He only had 13 carries?
For 46 yards, yes.
Oh, wow. I actually thought he had more. I thought
he had 3 receptions for 24.
I did not pay attention to that team much. Yeah. Especially with Olave being as injured as he was, for fantasy purposes, I did not pay attention to that. So there you go. That's some of the news that is there in the NFL that's going on.
Oh,
breaking news.
Is there one more breaking news, or is that just the wrapping up of the breaking news?
Seemed like the wrapping up of the
wrapping up of the breaking news. Okay, yeah. We didn't play to start. I feel like you have to have a start and a finishing of that sound.
So then, or you could have neither. If you play at the beginning, you must play it at the end.
It's like you put parentheses somewhere, but only one set of that'd be parenthesi, I think.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Then you're just saying it's that many inches.
Yeah. I didn't have a comeback for that one.
You've seen Spinal Tap.
I have seen Spinal Tap, but I
should also point out
Stonehenge. Yeah.
The Commanders are looking to trade Brian Robinson.
Oh, I would be intrigued.
Yeah.
Would you be intrigued?
Yeah. There's video out there of a fantasy football draft where a guy had the first pick, and you pick the name out and you put it on like the board.
Oh no.
And he grabbed The red background, B. Robinson.
Oh, no.
Jr. First pick. Boom. That's what I'm going with, fellas. Bijan Robinson Jr. What's that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you let your friends say, no, we know what you meant? Or
I let them.
Or do
yes.
you say, hey, that's on you. That's the dumbass tax?
No.
That's a